also been several high-profile incidents involving tourists. In previous years, foreign visitors in countries such as the United Arab Emirates have faced legal trouble over public displays of affection, highlighting how local laws can differ significantly from what many travelers are used to. The case has reignited debate around the world. Supporters say Aceh's laws reflect the province's religious and cultural values, while human rights groups argue that punishments like public caning violate human dignity. Perhaps the biggest takeaway is this: what may seem normal in one country can be a criminal offense in another. So, before your next international trip, take a few minutes to understand the local laws. It could save you from turning your vacation into an international headline. Good morning and welcome to S24 Morning Digest, your trusted breakfast program where we bring you the stories shaping Nigeria and the world. I am Gloria Atta, your host for today, and over the next 3 hours, we will review the biggest newspaper headlines, analyze the issues behind them, hear directly from Nigerians through our Street Talk segment, discuss politics, explore what's trending online, and wrap up with all the latest from the world of sports. Whether you're preparing for work, school, or simply catching up on current affairs, we are glad you've chosen to spend your morning with us. Our newspaper review comes up after the break. Thanks for staying with us and welcome to our newspaper review, where we dissect stories making the front pages today, covering security, politics, governance, business, and international affairs. And of course, I won't be doing this alone. I will be joined by my colleague, Abubakar Turaki. Good morning, Abubakar.
Good morning, Gloria.
Good morning. I hope you slept very well.
Yeah, thank you so much, and thank you for having me.
Yes, it's another beautiful day and another day to dissect issues. Today, we actually begin with some cheering news. Last night, the presidential spokesman, Bayo Onanuga, made an announcement that more than 3 people who had been kidnapped across Nigeria have been freed in an intelligence and security-led operation covering Niger and Kwara states. I'd like to hear your thoughts on that development.
Yeah, this is actually a welcome development.
Yes.
And if you remember in some of our previous newspaper review,
yes,
I have been agitating and I have been calling Nigerians that this time around, some few months to elections, you will see some good success from the Nigerian leaders.
Yeah.
So let us eschew politics and look at it from the positive lens of the coin. Those people were kidnapped since February. That was almost 46 people were kidnapped in Oro. Is it Woro community
Yes,
in Niger?
Kwara,
yeah. And also in Niger, they were also kidnapped. But due to some intensified intels and intelligence gathering, yesterday they were able to at least rescue them after almost 5 to 6 months. Well, no matter what, well, we have to appreciate the effort put in place by Nigerian government under the leadership of Tinubu, and also our army personnel. They have done a lot, and this is a welcome development, and I believe more are going to come. But the federal government have to remember innocent Nigerians that were also kidnapped in Maiduguri, in Askira Uba, whom are yet to get their own freedom while they are still in the bush. They are there not just for excursion, rather they are there just because of the government have failed to secure their own life and properties. But it's a welcome development.
Yes, indeed, it is a welcome development, and to whom much is given, much is expected. Now, large-scale rescues like this, what does it tell us about military operations? Because for them to be able to do this, then it means to a reasonable extent they have the capacity, or do you think otherwise?
You know, if you remember some couple of years ago when where we lost one of our gallant officer, that is Colonel Abu Ali. I don't know, maybe if you remember him.
Abu Ali?
Abu Ali, yeah,
Yes, I
yeah.
do.
You know, they have been coming out and say that if the government can at least support them 100%, they will eliminate the problem of insecurity in this
Yes.
country. And you know, the sophisticated weapon from those bandits and even criminals and the weapons most of our gallant officers are using, I think the difference is like between heaven and earth. And they just needed the kind of good motivation from the government,
Which we saw with the increment.
with the increment, even though the
Yes.
increment is yet to be implemented. You
Yes.
know, in Nigerians, the politician in Nigeria, a politician can promise you heaven, and if care is not taken, he will unleash hell.
Yes.
Because we know a politician that promised to lift 100 million Nigerians out of poverty before the end of his tenure, he pushed more into poverty.
Yes.
So as long as we have the political will, I believe they are willing to sacrifice and do everything possible to make Nigeria a stable and governable country. Remember, these are the people that were surviving barely less than minimum wage. And they
Yes.
have been doing it. Remember the Oyo school rescue that happened when we lost our own gallant officer. Is it Isaac?
Yes.
We
Yes,
lost him,
yes, I
and
saw
he,
the
a
story.
23-year-old soldier, he, in his prime,
28.
28, sorry,
Yes.
28, in his prime. And look at it, these are the kind of like future generals,
Yes.
future colonel. And if someone like Isaac can go into the bush and fight them and fought them, sorry, and even came out with at least good success, I believe if they have the motive, well training, well equipment, let me refer back to what Ali Indume said, like the fight against insecurity need team, training, equipment, um, training, equipment, ammunition, and motivation. So as long as if we have that thing, we will continue to record mass success.
Yes.
And with what government did, the increments in their own salary, which I believe the government will implement that, even if Tinubu did not come back, I believe the next president that is going to come, he will implement that. Because for as long as our country is in a very, very shambolic situation, there'll be a time when they will start attacking the VIP. Gloria, if I ask you now, nobody is safe in this country.
Of course not.
An average Nigerian was kidnapped. A poor Nigerian was kidnapped. And even VIP Nigerian was also
True.
kidnapped.
Yes,
Do you need
they
further
all get
explanation?
kidnapped. Of course not. We all understand the
Average
issues.
Nigerian, those students that were kidnapped and maltreated in the bush, are they not average Nigerians? Are they not poor Nigerians? Sorry, with due respect that I use that word poor, is very,
Yes.
very complicated. Average Nigerian. We recently saw what happened to General Abe when he was kidnapped in Katsina State
Yes.
and when he died. We saw what happened to him. If you remember General Alkali, former general who was being killed on his way going to Bauchi. Remember the scenario that
Yes.
happened?
Yes. I remember
The
case.
politicians among them, the sister to the former minister of power, she was also
Yes.
kidnapped. Then who is safe?
No one is safe. No
Well,
one is
the
safe.
president is safe because the president, according to publication by Olusegun Adeniyi in his book Power, Politics, and Death, when they were in the government, he said that there is a place in the villa which is called the Glass House, where the president and his family are there. So I think that is the only place that is safe. But this is just a kind of like ironically, I believe they are doing their own needful, because if the country is not safer to the
Yes.
to the nearest and to the barest minimal, I believe this analysis that we are doing, we may likely not have it. But the beauty of democracy is there's a freedom of the freedom of speech. So we are doing this in order to call the government that they should remember there is what we call social contract theory. If I could
Yes.
remember, social contract theory is a postulation by Saint Augustine.
Yes.
I think Saint Augustine said that like the social contract theory, this is a situation whereby the citizen will temporarily, voluntarily surrender their own allegiance to the government, so that the government will at least continue to govern them. Because before we live in a state of barbarism, state of anarchy, state of human survival was in a kind of like a nasty, brutish, and bitter. is in their the situation was just survival of the fittest and the elimination of the weakest. The way you are too agile and strong, if you are better than me, then you just come and conquer me. So it was
Yes,
that time when
yes.
people decided to surrender their own agreement into a one authority and let them govern it. So remember, we have a social contract theory between social contract agreement between us and them, between the ruled and the ruled.
Yes, there's also another very important thing you need to look at, which is beyond rescue operations. What can we do? What long-term strategies should we be looking at to prevent mass abductions? Because if you look at the trajectory of insecurity from how it started, it first started from one individual, two individuals, in isolated cases here and there. But now these groups have become so bold that they can come, make abductions numbering in hundreds, make murders, commit murders of over 100 plus. There was one in Kwara as well, where they attacked a community. I can't remember if it was also in Woro, where they lined up members of the community and slaughtered them like
Oh my
cows.
God. It happened during the time, also happened during the time of late President Muhammadu Buhari.
Yes.
That was in Zabarmani in Maiduguri State.
Yeah, so there have been several
Yeah.
incidences like this, and it's sad because these are human beings. They are people with stories, people's fathers, mothers, children rather, and they have dreams and aspirations. So beyond rescue operations, what strategies should we start looking at to prevent mass abductions like that?
The truth of the matter is, no matter what we are doing, the government have to complement our own efforts.
Yes.
Because you will only make a significant impact if you join the cycle. Now, what I am doing or what we are doing as concerned Nigerians, we are just creating sensitization and awareness.
Yes.
But if you really want to make an impactful impact, be in the position of authority.
Yeah.
If you are in the position of authority, that is where you will have the right, the ability to do and undo. You will use the approach of carrot and stick. But right now, even if you say that the community will try and be voicing at what is happening, do we have the kind of like trust between us, the security agency and the government? If I go out and voice out something, do you know that my life is at threat?
Of course.
How sure I am the government is going to protect me? How sure I am maybe subsequently they attack me, the government is going to continue taking good care of my family?
Your family, yes. These are actually the issues.
These
that
are
a
all
lot of
skepticism
Nigerians-
that Nigerians are so skeptical to the extent that they decided not to share any intel with the government. Because from every ramification, if we are thinking of government, let's compare the government of the United States of America and the government of Nigeria. Taking that comparison without insulting or even attacking the government of President Tinubu, the government has failed to deliver its own responsibility.
So now
It has failed. So that is why people are so afraid to share everything. But the government too, at the same time, they are trying. But we have to kind of like be audacious enough. If you see something, say something.
Yes.
Immediately report it to the government. Immediately report it to the police. Then they should take the necessary step. And recently, I saw a video of one security expert saying that a lot of traditional rulers has been compromising.
Yes,
That is one of the
yes.
major reasons why most of their community is being terrorized every day. Because they are as ceremonial traditional rulers. Most of them are their ideal. What I mean by ideal, they are no longer doing what is expected to them.
Yes, yes, I understand this. But you know, you've made very, very salient points. But I also want to refer you to a statement you made yesterday that for everybody in every community, we are supposed to have a level of consciousness and awareness. I'll just take you down memory lane to something that happened where I was living at a particular point in time. A very reserved, small community where I stay. And then there's a big plot of land where I think it was earmarked to be a plaza or something. And you know, you see lots of them in Abuja.
Yeah,
you just
abundant
see,
land.
Yes. And that place, somebody noticed something. My sister one day noticed somebody jump into that fence, and it's a big
Trespassing.
expanse of land. And she told me about it. Then I told someone else.
Good.
And after telling that person, they were able to do a little finding here and there, and they discovered that they were able to meet that young man. And they asked him, okay, what are you doing here? he said he comes to sleep there. So apparently there's a bacha inside
maybe
the
an
land
hideout.
where the security, because I think a security person was actually assigned to monitor the place and ensure people do not maybe trespass. But the person is not consistent there. So this person now started sleeping there. And they involved the authorities immediately to question him further, because this is how they operate. They
This is how
come,
they
they
started,
act in
yeah.
different forms, they act in different, so it's very, very important.
And at the end, they strike.
Yes, and then they strike. So it's very important that
Yeah,
as
very,
a
very
community, we have
important.
that consciousness that once you see something that looks odd, you don't even wait. You start asking questions. You start telling people who can ask.
I don't know
there's
why.
one more question I'm going to
Please,
ask
before
you,
you ask
but
me,
we have to go on a break.
Okay.
So let's go on a break, and when we come back, we'll continue our newspaper review. Stay with us. Welcome back from that break. If you're just joining us, this is S24 Morning Digest, and I've been having a very insightful conversation with my guest, Abubakar Turaki. And we've been talking about the recent rescue that was announced yesterday by the Nigerian government. And quickly, because I want us to move from this paper, what can state governors and local communities do to strengthen intelligence gathering? That was what we're talking about before the break.
Of course, state governors have a very, very important to play in addressing the problem of insecurity.
Yes.
Let's be realistic. Abuja is a little bit safer than most of the states in Nigeria.
Yes.
And you know, these are the state government that are always bragging. During my time, I have done so thing. During my time, I have done so thing. I remember these are the people that are getting IGR. They are getting federal government allocation, and they also have their ways to get international donation. So why are you channeling the funds that you are getting? Remember, they have been so dubious to the extent that they just went ahead and they have been executing what we call human infrastructural development instead of human capital development. And remember, if you fail to at least if you fail to execute human capital development and you are there executing infrastructural development, you are not going to have peace in your society. What I mean by human capital development here, any society that is an ignorant society, there will not be peace in that society. No matter how you have the 13-story building, 130 flyovers, 37 infrastructures, 38 universities, 210 healthcare system, you will never have peace in the society. But they fail to understand. You will go back and you see them, they are constructing roads, bridges, carrying out some political shenanigans that are not even important, appointing SA, PA, commissioners. Misplacement of priority. But if they can at least go back to the community, let them ensure that local government financial autonomy to the core. No any joint state account with the state government and the local government. The chairman of that local government give him his funds. He will try and channel and understand the problem that is affecting most of his own community. For example, maybe my own community is battling with the problem of water, while the government will likely come to the community and construct a road. People will be aggrieved. People will be venting out. So please, they should remember that what they are doing, there will be a moment when history will never forget them.
Thank you so much, Abubakar. So because of time, let's quickly move on to our next newspaper. And we'll be taking a look at the Daily Trust. And on the front page, there's a story that says EFCC asks First Bank to freeze Osun government account. Now, let's just quickly talk about the implications of an anti-graft agency like the EFCC directing a bank to freeze a state government's account.
To be honest, I see no reason whereby an independent commission will be dancing to the tune of the executive. We know who appoints the chair of EFCC. And we know, if you remember, even the inception of EFCC, how it came on board. Let's start with the pioneer chairman of EFCC, Malam Nuhu Ribadu, when he came on board. when his friend Malan Nasiru El-Rufai played a vital role in the creation of EFCC and even executing project of EFCC. In his book, Accidental Public Servant, where Nuhu Ribada came, we saw allegedly where they have been using EFCC to witch hunt the opposition. And after Nuhu Ribada left, we saw the leadership of Ibrahim Lamurdi, how they have been doing that. We even saw the leadership of Farida Waziri, how she have been doing that. We even saw the leadership of Ibrahim Magu, how they have been using him in order to witch hunt the opposition.
Allegedly.
These are all allegations. That is why I clear my statements.
Yes.
We saw the leadership of how they have been witch hunting politicians. And we even saw recently when the youngest chair of EFCC, that is Abdurrashid Baba, when he was the chairman of EFCC, when they have been using him allegedly to witch hunt politicians. And subsequently, when the government of APC came under Tinubu, they just sack him or suspend him. I don't know how the case went. And now under the leadership of Olu Olukayode.
Yes.
So the accusation by Nigerians that they are accusing the anti-graft of not fighting corruption with the sincere heart, then it may be possible. And now, 10 days to election, and you are asking the bank to freeze the account of Osun state government. Why? Why? Maybe there is a political understanding behind that.
Yes.
And we saw how Governor Adeleke have been venting out. Osun was, for the past, I think, 2 months, Osun have been an unrest. Because, this is the contest that is currently going on between somebody that is in the position of authority. And he has the influence of his niece, Davido. We know how Governor Adeleke came on board. Well, dancing governor. When Davido went around and rally support for him and people voted for him. And this is to tell you that this APC government is an allegation. This APC government, I yesterday told one of my colleagues here that based on Niccolo Machiavelli assertion of politician between the lion and the fox politician, President Tinubu have all the features of being a lion politician, because President Tinubu does not even entertain the element of opposition at all cost. That is on perception. He has that school of thought.
Okay, that's the lion.
The lion fox, the lion politician.
Okay.
Tinubu has that perception. If you remember, Adeleke came as the governor of Osun State when Buhari was the president of this country.
Yes.
Immediately after he won, I wish our MCR have that picture. They can play that when Adeleke went to Buhari and thank him and say that, President, thank you for not interfering into the election. And Adeleke won successfully. But now remember, who is the Minister of Blue Economy and Maritime? Former Governor Boyega Oyotola, who was the former governor of Osun State. And Adeleke defeated them.
Yes.
And now they wanted to come back. So for the past 3 months to 2 months, Osun have been terrorized by hoodlums, by unknown gunmen, by political talks. And I saw a video of Adeleke accusing Minister Boyega Oyotola that he has been the one engineering this thing. Where are we heading to? Why are we trying to allow politics to take over governance? Whether Oyotola, whether Adeleke, the people, like the federal government allegedly, should allow the people of Osun State to elect their own next governor. Why are they interfering into that?
Now, actions like this, of course, there's no need for me to ask you if it will affect governance.
Of course it will. Now they have frozen the account. Do you know that maybe in case of emergency, and based on what they said, EFCC does not even obtain court order. They just went ahead blindly and froze that account. Why is the beauty of democracy? And recently I told you about how what we are practicing in this country, federalism. Federalism, the state government have their own independency, the state government and even the local government. And now so it has become obvious that the federal government is trying to jeopardize the safety of our own democracy, while these are the people that came on the mantra of being that they are here to reform the mistakes made by the PDP government. And now maybe how is Osun State government going to make some payments when it comes to emergency situation in the state? But I saw that they have filed a case, and maybe if there is no any political motive behind it, I believe EFCC will going to at least do the needful. But EFCC made their own valid statement. You know, one of the lucrative sectors that most of Nigerians are failed to look at it is the ecological fund.
Yeah.
There is a lot of funds being injected in that ecological fund. And EFCC said that they, for the past 2 months, they have been noticing a kind of like inflow and outflow of some illegal transaction that is currently going on there. And yesterday they just decided to strike. And they stated that it's not only Osun, I believe it's just a statement that is not only Osun, they are also monitoring some of the states that they are trying to do this kind of illegality. But remember, Gloria, you have to understand, this is the government. Then if they are saying that they are doing this thing in order to tame the problem of corruption and illicit flow of funds. If you remember, let us reflect back to what happened in 2017. I don't want to mention that the name of that person because he's a very, very influential figure. But let me give a demonstration. We saw a video going viral online. One politician in the northern Nigeria pocketing foreign currency in his agbada.
Babariga.
In his Babariga. Remember that scenario? Do you remember?
Of course, it was a very popular. Everyone was talking about it. I don't think Nigerians can ever forget it.
Okay, so what the ruling party did that? Did the ruling party send the EFCC to go after that man, even though he was a serving governor? Then he has immunity that he cannot be prosecuted. But after he left power now for almost, I think, for almost 4 to 3 years now. What happened? Is it just because Governor Adeleke aligned himself with the opposition party? That is why they are trying to do that. The fight against corruption in this country, there is a political motive behind that. If you are to be honest with ourselves, the government of APC is not fighting corruption the way Nigeria it is expected. They are using all the instruments of government in order to win the opposition allegedly.
But you know, it's also very important that we this question I want to ask. You know, the issue of corruption is something that has plagued Nigeria for decades now, and it's so saddening that most of the time Nigeria still, unfortunately, falls short in even global rankings.
Yeah. Corruption perception index. Yeah.
But these anti-corruption agencies, we have a plethora of them. We have the EFCC, we have the ICPC,
Code of Conduct Bureau,
the Code of Conduct Bureau, and so many other agencies and parastatals that have all been charged with this responsibility. But then another issue is that comes to fore is the fact that they are usually selected or appointed by the ruling government. So what can these agencies now do to ensure accountability and ensure accountability and transparency in their operations without interference from the ruling party?
It will be very difficult for that thing to happen because
other countries also do it.
If you look at the process they are coming, and if you said other countries, the level of patriotism among Nigerians is very low. Everybody is just looking for a way to enrich himself. Everyone is just looking for. I just saw something this morning. Among Nigerians, that they are calling them the future leaders of tomorrow. Do you know what they are saying? With the level of corruption, most of Nigerians politicians are looting our own resources. Many of them, I saw them on Facebook saying that for them to live in a malnourished life, is it not better for them if they get any public office to loot so that they can be coming from EFCC office to courtroom? Let me put it in Hausa so that my brother in the local level will understand. Da zama da talauci gare zirga-zirga a ofishin EFCC. For me to be poor is better for me, like for him, not me.
Yes.
I cannot say me because I will. Let me not speak like Bola. Yes. Because I know that no matter what, try and leave a good footprint for yourself. They are saying that no matter what, for them to live in a very impoverished manner, it's better for them to loot, because the process of plea bargain have even make it more lucrative for politicians and even upcoming politicians to loot. Coming back to their question, what can they do in order to ensure there is no any legal or political interference? It will be very, very difficult for that until and unless we remove the appointment of all those agencies. I think we need to go for a constitutional reform in this country because the president is too dictatorial in nature. The president is acting as a kind of like one, how how can I use that word?
Have actually been,
our constitution have a lot of lacuna.
Yes,
why will the president appoint the chair of EFCC, the chair of ICPC, the chair of INEC? Why? These are the institution of state that needed to be extremely neutral so that they can discharge their own responsibility and mandate. But I am calling on the chair of EFCC, ICPC, and even INEC, please, for the sake of Allah, they should do it for us, because I know most of them are aged enough, and according to life expectancy in Nigeria, it's just 60 to 70 years or even 50 years. Please, we are begging them. We that are young, we want to enjoy this country. They should not allow corruption to take over this country. Because me, I'm envisaging of living up to 90 years. And I'm always praying to make positive impact in this country. Because I don't want to die as a coward.
To die in poverty.
Not even poverty.
Yes.
Poverty is just a mindset.
Yes, actually.
I may be poor, but I'm not ideal. This is what we need to be differentiating, and you need to try and make impact in your life. Do you know that there are a lot of people that die without a dime in their naira? Remember, after the assassination of Murtala Muhammad, I saw a kind of some report. I think one day I will find out. Murtala, okay, I think Abubakar Tafawa Balewa. Yes. Abubakar Tafawa Balewa died without at least 10,000 naira in his bank account, and he was the prime minister. And now tell me, even SA to the president, can he die without 5,000 naira in his account?
Or millions?
Billions. We are talking of billions.
Even. Let's not even.
Please, they should do the needful.
Down there. It's very, very saddening. And just before we move to our next paper, I just want to check this in. There was a video that trended yesterday, I think, of a woman who someone asked her that if she was offered, I think, 10,000 pounds or 10 million pounds to return to Nigeria, she said she wouldn't. And it's so sad that the Nigerian people have grown to that extent, that level where the sense of patriotism to their country is no longer there.
Madam Glory, we are patriotic.
But a lot of people right now, you just made this statement that a lot of people are having that mindset that I just want to loot. Everyone wants to leave. Nobody wants to stay back to fix the issue.
But people like you and I want to stay and make the country great.
This is our own
perception. Yes,
by having this conversation,
of
and
course,
just creating awareness for Nigerians to know that these are the issues and these issues need to be tackled. So let's also talk about our next paper. We are still on Daily Trust, and another story we'll be looking at is protests in Abuja, Lagos against hardship and insecurity. Again,
I think
Nigerians are protesting.
One of the benefactors and those that benefit under protest is the APC government.
Really?
Yeah, because they came on propaganda. They were busy campaigning and processing in the street of Abuja, Lagos, and Kano. I'm going to give you a reference to a book by Bolaji Abdullahi, On a Platter of Gold. I think, On a Platter of Gold. Remember when they accused the government of PDP for failing to scare the lives and properties of Nigeria? They staged a protest called Bring Back Our Girls, where Chibok students were adopted. They have been campaigning rigorously. They have been going against the then president, Goodluck Jonathan. They even called him with such names, which I believe, if among them, that name was called by, if to say that like one among Nigerians, they called the president with that name. We recently saw what happened to Sowore. He called the president criminal. Sowore landed in the DSS custody. Am I right or wrong?
Sowore is a regular face there.
It's a regular face, but these are to tell you that the level of opposition, they are not freedom of speech, but they even called former President Goodluck Jonathan with such names. In fact, from the northern part of the country, most of the clerics even use their own preaching ground. They have been causing the then government of PDP and calling it with all sorts of names. This protest, Bring Back Our Girls. When they wanted to increase the fuel, they have been rallying around the street of Abuja, Occupy Nigeria. Go to Bolaji Abdullahi publication on Platter of Gold, you will see it. I could remember the likes of Mai Mala Buni, who is the governor of Yobe State now. the likes of Hadiza Bala Usman, who is the special advisor to the president, and even their Alpha and Omega, Muhammadu Buhari, and the likes of Tambuwal, the likes of Amechi, and many more. They have been going around the street of Abuja, Occupy Nigeria, accusing the government of PDP of failing to secure Nigeria. And now recently we saw Sowore came up with this protest in Abuja, take it back movements.
Yes.
Well, that is the beauty of democracy. But I believe they will not. They will not look at that. Even yesterday, they sent police to disperse those protesting. What are you saying to us? There is no freedom of speech?
Yeah.
Or Nigerians, do you think Nigerians are stupid enough that they cannot differentiate between what is going on or what is going on good or what is not going on?
No. To
be honest, we are feeling it. This morning, I just don't want to be speaking on a personal note. Maybe I just don't want people to think that maybe I'm going against the government or what. But we are feeling it. Your car before you used to fuel your car just 10,000 naira, 9,000 naira, but now you need to fuel your car almost 40,000 naira
in a week. Well, I know there is a lot to say about this. Let's just go on another break, and then when we come back, we'll dissect this issue even further. Please stay with us. Welcome back from that break. You're still watching the newspaper review on the Morning Digest, happening live on S24 television. And I've been having very, very insightful discussions with Abubakar Turaki. Thank you for staying with us.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, so we've been talking about the ongoing protest in Abuja and Lagos against hardship and insecurity in Nigeria. And, you know, the issue of insecurity, the issue of economic hardship, these are conversations that have lingered for years. In fact, I grew up listening to these issues, and it's very sad.
But it wasn't hard the way we Nigerians are experiencing now. It was not that hard.
Yes, but you know, it's progressive. It keeps getting worse.
But who failed Nigerians?
This is
maybe we should ask Nigerians. Nigerians, who failed you, please?
Maybe they drop that on the comment section and we have time to review that. On the comment section, Nigerians can drop their views on this.
I'm sorry to call you, please, before it actually skipped my mind.
Yes.
I think I want to plead with the incumbent ruling party.
Yes.
That please, Nigerians are feeling the impact of most of their own dubious and unrealistic policies. If they can at least take us back to 2015 or 2014, we are grateful.
Of course, time travel is impossible.
It's possible. It's possible.
Impossible.
Well, nothing is impossible in the eyes of Nigerian politicians.
A lot of things are impossible. You know, the thing is, as much as we like to, I would call it wishful thinking for us to say, I wish we could go back to the way things were. There was a day I was having a conversation with my mom, and I said, if the way I'm living now, that if this was maybe 2005, that I'm going to be a very rich woman with the salary I'm earning and but now we earn way higher than our parents did, and we're not able to afford the life
Naira devaluation.
Yes.
Sometimes when we speak on IMF, that they have something behind us, people will just think that you are too shallow-minded, you don't know anything about politics, you don't have right to speak on the economy. But rather, if the economy is good, we will feel it.
Yes.
If the economy is bad, a common and average Nigerian will feel it.
Yeah, because for the average Nigerian, it is not the jargons you speak or the reviews you give.
We don't care about
you break things down.
Of
the average Nigerian, they want to know if you say the economy is good, then Mama Tayo selling pepper in the market wants to go to the market and be able to sell or buy things with the little 20,000 naira in her account. Now, I don't think 500 naira can feed someone for breakfast, chocolates of lunch, chocolates of dinner.
Well, maybe you just manage. You know, when we were in university before the thing deteriorated, I can remember, I think there is one, what do you call it? One formula.
Yes.
101
111.
111.
110.
So many Nigerians now are
011.
surviving on 001.
Oh my goodness. Which is actually true. It's a true reality. Have you noticed that the level of street begging and corporate
It has
begging
increased
in Nigeria
in my
has
area. I
increased?
think I need to share with one of our colleagues. We have to go and do a special report there. My area is now becoming a hub of begging in Abuja. Every morning, if I'm coming out, I used to wonder. And the truth of the matter is, I begin to wonder. Most of them, I just see them. They are all my brothers from the northern part of the country. Where are we going to?
No.
This is the northern Nigeria, where then we know what they call, when if you mention you are from the northern Nigeria, Hausa people used to call it mutane masu karamci, mutane masu kunya, mutane masu al'ada. These are the people that are too nice, too humble. And if something is even wrong with them, they will not even know.
Yes.
These are the people that are dying in silence. But now look at how the economy has sent them into that. Look at how insecurity has sent into the street begging.
Yeah, even the issue of insecurity, it is no longer isolated. It's no longer in the ghettos. Even in the highbrow areas now, you can't move certain hours of the night, even certain hours of the day. I would always make reference to an incident that happened, and somebody that I know staying in a very good environment, just from here to here, the person was stabbed.
Oh my God.
While taking a morning walk.
Can you imagine?
In the highbrow part of Abuja, if I want to even bring it down, in Guzape, Abuja.
Can you imagine?
By the express, not in one
isolated area.
Not in an isolated area. She was just having an early morning jog, and that just it's just scary that even out in the open, in a place where people who live there are expected to be, you know, cultured and the elites and stuff like this.
I want to make this point clear before we go back to Daily Trust. I think maybe we still have time. There is misinformation and there is disconnection of information between us and our leaders. Do you know that I got the opportunity to speak to someone that served in the government, and he made it clear to us that this Daily Trust that we are reading is not the same Daily Trust that most of our leaders are reading. Because with the level of chanting most Nigerian journalists are doing, I think if our leaders are human beings and they have sympathy in their heart, I think by now they could have started addressing some issues of insecurity. But there is what we call politics behind journalism. So maybe they just wanted to take them all the good news that is happening. Remember, everything is possible in this country. And remember, I told you
there are issues. There are still good news.
There are still good news, but they have to understand the bad news that is currently going on. Remember, I told you when we are analyzing paper last week and why, like when the president said that the state governor should stop building flyovers, and I told you most of the state houses of assembly are now a department in the government house, where most of them, they will just be running to the executive governor saying, Your Excellency, Your Excellency, Your Excellency. Like that, maybe the governor would just ask you, what is going on? You just tell him all and give him all fallacy. This is a first-hand information I'm giving you. I was opportune to speak to someone. They went out for a campaign in one of the local government, and when they came back, the campaign went very bad. They even stunned them. Do you know what happened? They were having a kind of like a dinner with the executive governor, and most of them, all those VIP, all those SA, they were saying, Your Excellency, people of so community are hailing your project. They are doing that thing. One of them, he's actually a God-fearing person among them. He just stood firmly and said, Your Excellency, wallahi, they are lying to you. Like, by Allah, these people, what they are saying to you, they are not telling you the fact. Like, you see the miscommunication. And he just went there and told him that, Your Excellency, these people say that you promised them this, you promised them this, but you did not fulfill it. But can you imagine another faction? They are saying that they are praising him, while when they went there, they just stunned them and even told them that they are not going to vote for him again. So this is the misinformation among us, between us and Nigerians.
Yes, the disconnect. So I want us to move to our next paper, but before we do, you know, the issue of insecurity, the issue of economic hardship, the issue of lack of access to basic amenities and all. These are all issues that I believe personally that the federal government is well aware of.
Yeah.
I believe they are aware of these issues, and they keep saying that they are working on it. Of course, we have initiatives that have come up in recent times, the NEL Fund. I know that the First Lady also has a number of empowerment opportunities. Yes, Lakara. I know she has a number of empowerment opportunities for women. We know that for the security architecture, the government has been making plans or even taking steps to boost insecurity, of course, with stuff like the increment of salaries, the purchase of different weapons, aircrafts, and all of that. So we know a lot of these announcements, and I don't want to be on the side where we'll say we are not seeing
the
some
impact.
of these
Yes,
efforts.
they are
we
trying.
Are seeing the
Kudos
efforts,
government.
but we want to see impact
tangible,
as well.
Tangible
as
impact.
You said, you've done this. We want to see within short-term durations actual impact. So how then, what practical measures, because they've done all of this when Nigerians are still complaining. So in 1 minute, I just want you to summarize that. What else should they do since they've done all of this and Nigerians are still complaining that there is no succor?
They should follow it up. Follow up. And remember, let them at least print appointment letter and sacking letter. If you fail to deliver as a minister, as a chairman, as a DG, as my SA, as my PA, and even my SSA, and even ambassador, this is your appointment letter, I'm handing it over to you. And once, if I hear anything from your own ministry, department, or agency that you failed to do this thing for more than 3 times, God so kind, I'm going to sack you. I will even be the one to snap and even post without even waiting for my own special advisor on media and publicity. This, I think, from that time, we will start to see massive and progressive progress and development in this country.
Thank you
because
so
remember
much.
When Buhari was in power, when my senior brother, Brutai, when he was there, chief of army staff, calls has been calling, Buhari, please sack these people. They have overstayed their welcome. Did he sack them on time? Did he? I think we need to open our ear and eye. Like, what are the people need? People need this thing. Okay, let me do it. Then if the thing go wrong, then no be me talk more, no be you come out and say I should do this. I have done what you said. I think we have that liberty in a democratic dispensation,
yes,
Gloria.
Indeed, we do. So let's also look at our last story for today. Dangote Refinery cuts petrol price by 50 naira and diesel by 80 naira. This is still coming from the Daily Trust.
Well, it's a good one. This morning, I think around 5 a.m., I went to one of the nearest filling station and I bought PMS at the rate of 1,300 naira per liter. In a country where we are among one of the OPEC, Organization of Exporting Petroleum Cooperation, OPEC countries, now people are struggling. Well, the effort made by Dangote, I believe, is going to see the light of the day, and I believe they are going to do more. But this is actually a slap to Nigerian government, because I think we have almost 3 to 4 refineries that were built since the time of the military. And if Dangote, within the period of 6 to 7 years, while President Buhari was in power, he was able to at least build a first-hand refinery, then what are we waiting for 65 years? For 65 years, I believe by now we could have at least have 10 refineries.
Yes.
Plus the one we have. Functional one that are refining, that are exporting, and we are also consuming. But where is the political will? There's no any political will. Our politicians are so adamant to think that to be seeing Nigerians dying in a broad daylight. And now the kind of dying Nigerians that are dying is just like an instant death. You will just see somebody now, instantly, you will just suffocate and die. Why? Because of hard economic policy.
Let's not also forget that some Nigerians are not all right, like health-wise, because of probably the food they eat and because of
It's
the
not
stress.
like that. It's
Well, I know
because
that
of
all
the
of that
wicked,
also
harsh
boils.
policies.
I also
Now,
know
tell
that
me how
boils
many
to
Nigerians are
economic
living
hardship.
comfortably in this
Very
in this
few.
country?
Very, very
Tell me,
few.
please, for the sake of analysis, like not for the sake of being biased or emotional. Tell
You know,
me,
there was a report I saw one time, and I think we did that in house.
life
That
is it life expectancy?
yes, no, I think if you earn 500,000, can 500,000 naira sustain a family, or can 1 million naira even sustain a family right now? I think the average Nigerian, even a single person, 500,000 naira as salary
It's
is no
not
longer
possible.
enough
It's not
for you to
possible.
take care of yourself. Talk more of having a wife, having children, paying bills. It's a lot, actually.
That is
But
why the level of corruption is always increasing in the public sector. Thank God, private sector, the level of corruption is very, very minimal. The corruption that is taking place in private sector is just closing early. Yeah, these are the kind of corruption that are taking in the private
they
sector.
still do one or two. They do one or two of it in the private
I
sector
believe,
as
I
well.
believe they do.
Those very big,
yeah, very big organs.
yeah, big
But the level of
organizations.
corruption in the public sector is scary. I think even the Shaitan is learning corruption from most of the Nigerian's public sector. But this is the country that has fake DG with budget. Remember, remember.
Oh my goodness. So, you know, I attended a training by a workshop by the ICPC a few years ago, and they said that the average Nigerian, they said Nigerians are the ones that actually feel corruption.
How?
Okay, so that let's say, for example, let's use you for instance.
No, let's use her.
Okay, let's use one, Mrs. A, for
Okay.
instance. Mrs. A, you know, a very good woman, a devoted woman. Maybe she goes to church every Sunday.
Very
Maybe
pious.
very pious woman. And then Mrs. A gets an appointment as the Minister of Finance, or she gets an appointment as the DG of something. And the moment Mrs. A gets that appointment, Mrs. A goes to church and she wants to sit down here. They say, no, Mrs. A, come and sit in front. Sit in front, sit here. And
systemic failure.
Yes, and then everything in the church, if they are doing it, they call Mrs. A.
Deliverance,
Mrs. A,
donation.
We have 1 million this. We want you to donate 1 million. Mrs. A goes to her local community. They say, Mrs. A is now the DGO. Everybody rallies around.
Of course,
Mrs.
I quite agree with
and they are asking her for money. Tabling their family problem. Meanwhile, if we want to be honest,
what she's earning,
Mrs. A's salary from the government purse is maybe 800,000 naira for being an official. But the moment she became a public figure, the expenses that pile up on her is now running into millions or billions.
Of course.
People now expect her to help them build a house in one day. Now, not even, you know, if it's the normal things that the community needs, it's even understandable. But then people are now bringing their family problems. You see, one politician is paying the school fees of 20 people.
My daughter wants to get married.
So they now ask us that, how do you think they are getting the money?
Of course, we are aiding corruption.
Yes, and then when we see these things, because we want to collect, when we see them, large. God bless you,
it's
man.
not
God
acceptable.
Bless you,
exactly.
And then you collect your own portion and you go.
It's not,
and then when you're in your
good.
house, you now sit down and say, they are doing this, they are
of
doing
course,
that.
They are the one. Yeah, we are the one.
The issue of corruption is something that I think it starts from the mind. It's saddening to say, but I feel like in recent times, the average Nigerian is growing to have a corrupt mindset.
Of course.
A lot of times we always look at the public officials that they are doing this, they are doing that. But that woman that goes to the market and sees me looking well-dressed and she believes that I have money, and instead of charging me 500 naira for a plate of pepper, now tells me to pay 1,000 naira. She's a corrupt person.
Of course she is. Corruption differs. I think we have 3 to 4 types of corruption.
And that is the reason why when we go into public office, it's easy for us to do it because it's something you've been doing.
Yeah,
you want to pay for your jam fee, you want to pay for school
for
fee.
everything.
That fact that you have to sort everybody for everything you are doing. You are going somewhere, you have to give somebody a tip. If not, that thing will not work out. You have to all of those things. I don't think that is the case.
So I think we should advocate what's the way out in a nutshell. Let me give you one scenario that happened.
Yes.
Someone just recently coronated because it's a coronation. I quite disagree if the local government election is taking place. It's just a mere coronation. This is my own assertion as a student of
Yes.
political science. And within 1 month that he occupied that office, he was sharing his own personal experience as a public servant.
Yes.
That he spent more than 7 million naira. A local government chairman spent more than 7 million naira within 1 month. That is 4 weeks. And I asked him, were you able to execute project? No. Courtesy visit, people will come, I will give him that. People will just send me a phone call, please, I want to execute that. People, how can he, like, 7 months? So now if he, like, within 2 months, he will spend 14 million. If he did not control that, then how is he going to have that 14 million naira? Then you have to find some ways.
You reduce something here.
Do this,
siphon
inflate some project, do this. Then the only way out for us to alleviate corruption, because Quranically and biblically, corruption is not even acceptable. And it's not even accepted. And a corrupt mind is a dirty mind.
Yes.
And a corrupt person, he's smelling.
Yes.
I think we need to at least inculcate our own religious scholars to come and be preaching on how we can at least fight the problem of insecurity to the
But
core.
they are not saints either. They are not saints.
It's a sin, no matter what. But we just think like anything that will favor us, we just have to find a kind of like fake hadith or fake verse or even fake chapters in the Bible in order to protect it. Because remember, it is in this country that there is one popular Islamic scholar that's went ahead and been campaigning for a deceptive ticket that brought the government of APC into power. That is Muslim ticket. I am more comfortable with the Muslim ticket of Babagana, Kingibe, and Abiola. That was 1993.
Yes.
That was more honest and honorable than the Muslim ticket of 2023. That was just a pure political calculation made by the government of the APC. But the Muslim ticket of the SDP, it is more centralized and it is more acceptable within the eyes of Nigeria.
Yeah.
Because even his rival, which is Bashir Tropa, who came from Kano, SDP won Kano State.
Yes. You know, during that election, based on what we've read, we said it was more of the individual, it was more of an issue
competency
of competence than, you know, the religious or the
of
cultural
course,
divide.
yeah.
Now let's still talk about the Dangote price cut, which is what we're talking about. So now, how will Nigerians feel the benefits immediately? Because I would just want you to quickly draw you back to what happened during the UN-Iran
Strait of Hormuz.
Strait of Hormuz conversation. And immediately, even before they finished having that press conference, our Nigerian marketers inflated the price. But then we hear of when there is a reduction, we only hear it on paper. But when there is an increment, we see it immediately.
Instantly.
That moment, even
instantly.
the bike man that just dropped you, it's like everyone is active on social media. They see it and immediately they say, no, they've increased the prices. So how then can we, you know, kind of do is it a regulation, or how then can we ensure, what should the government or the people do to ensure that when these reductions happen, when there are these policy changes and small adjustments, Nigerians will feel the benefits?
Well, there is a presence of DPR. DPR is there, and remember, Consumer Protection Commission, they are also there. We just need to strengthen some of our laws. Like, we have to take our eye from the politicians. Those politicians are selected individual from Almighty. Because if you say that we are just always going to follow what the politicians do, there will be a time when we are going to go there and set ourselves into a pit that we may likely not come out. DPR, do everything possible, continue regulating it. And we also have IPMAN.
Yes.
So let them make sure that innocent Nigerian is not experiencing this hardship, because as you said, if there is increase, they will do that. If there is decrease, they will not implement that. Are we confused?
A very important
Are we
question
confused?
we should answer.
And we should always, at least, if anybody inflicts a kind of like, if you are innocent and if anyone inflicts hardship on you, just go and tell your Lord that, oh Lord, this is the person that actually affected me. We know when the Prince of Saudi Arabia came on power and he was just trying to misbehave. And this is to tell you how powerful prayer is. They started cursing him, but they just went ahead and think that this is not going to be the way out. They started praying for him, sending a kind of like council of ulama to tell him the good, the bad, and the side of that. But now, even our own religious leaders, whether they are Christian or Muslim, they are being reduced to what they call, if a politician see them in their own office, they will think that they are just here on a personal note. Remember
Yeah,
what
for
happened?
money.
What happened last week when a group of Christians went to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu after they came out? You know the kind of backlash we saw.
Yes.
So Nigeria, with due respect and apology, Nigeria is a confused federation.
Well, it's just very important that, as a people, we need to come together and fight these issues as they occur. Sometimes you'd sit down and, for ladies, I'm not being stereotypical, but ladies are the ones who go to the market a lot of times. And you go to the market, you'd hear sometimes that the price of this, because they have seasons. There are seasons in a year when crayfish, for example, is
Yeah, it will be
cheaper.
cheap, yeah.
There are seasons when it's supposed to be more expensive. But people do not implement this. So all year round, crayfish is expensive. All year round, plantains are expensive. All year round. So as a people, we need to start asking questions. And for the organizations, the bodies that have been charged with responsibilities, just like you've mentioned, they have to sit up and do their job.
I quite agree
And
with you.
when we and Nigerians, before we do their job, we have to voice it out. That's why, as the military will say something,
See something.
see something, say something. Same thing for every other sector.
You
see
spoke about
something
this
wrong, you say something.
going to the market. Sorry to cut you short before it escape my
In 30
my
seconds,
in 30 seconds.
Abubakar.
Do you know that in my state there is what we call a local government in Yamal Tudeba, that in Kowa. If you want to see the best tomato, go there. But why are we farming that in there? But within there, the price is just stagnant. It's not changing.
Yeah.
What is the government doing?
We need to do better.
What is the government
We
doing?
need
The
to do
government by now could
better.
have started
Abubakar,
at
we
least
have to go
producing some
because of time.
factories that will process that, take it out. At least we are going to increase our own
Thank you,
IGR.
Abubakar. We have to go
Sometimes
now.
I think we
That
need to go on
concludes our
a legal
today's
battle with
version
the
of
government.
Newspaper
Legal
Review.
battle,
Thank you,
remind me,
Abubakar,
legal
for
battle.
coming. I have to cut you now. Thank you so much for joining us on today's edition of Newspaper Review on S24 Morning Digest. Coming up next, we'll step outside the studio to hear directly from Nigerians on the street on our Street Talk segment. Later, we'll bring you political arena, top trends, and all the latest sporting action from the sports desk. Until then, this is me saying goodbye and stay tuned. Bye for now.
What if we forget about politics for a moment? Let's talk about the results. More than 220 million Nigerians rely on state government for essential services like healthcare, education, and security. As parents, workers, and students, we all feel the impact of these decisions every day. So today we are on the street of Abuja to ask one simple question: who is the best governor in Nigeria? Done. And what makes them stand out? Let's hear it from the people.
Alex Oti of Abia State is the best governor or best performing governor in Nigeria because when it comes to development, when it comes to infrastructure, when it comes to economic policies, he's there. All other governors that has ruled Abia State from inception, from 1991, I will tell you that Abia has been unfortunate with governors. But since he came in, within 3 years, he has really transformed Abia.
I have two performing governors, two best. One is from Abia State, two that I know, two is from Enugu State. Both of them are doing well. The one of Abia State has made sure that there is steady light in Abia State, road network everywhere. All the people in Abia State, even the Aba, which is an industrial area, is not lacking anything light. 24 hours light service. That of Enugu State is trying, is doing the same thing, the same road network, the same development, the same. You go to Enugu State, you see things working very well. You know that people have come to serve.
Okay, I will say Alex Oti. Why I say Alex Oti, if you check the things he's doing in his state, one of the things that is disturbing Nigeria, that is electricity. You can see in my plaza, there's no light. But you go to Aba now, every industry, both big and small, they are enjoying light. So any government who can achieve that one already, that person is already made.
The standout has to be Mohamed Umar Bago of Niger State. Now, the reason why I'm going for Mohamed Umar Bago is the fact that agriculture has been boosted by, not just by a lot of metrics. And one of the metrics I'm actually going to point out is the fact that places like Paiko, for instance, has actually had enormous investment in yam. And I think for that, it has been a booster for that area. And when we go back to areas like Ushishi, Bida, Lapai, agriculture has been something that the people have been ravaging about for a very long time. And this government has actually come in and they've actually done well.
My vice governor is the Abba Gida Gida, because I have much reason why I'm saying like that. Actually, Abba Gida Gida is just known, he make up about the media people because he's doing much work, but he didn't get the media people. But now, he there with the 3 full R, they enter everywhere and check village and the city to see his performance.
Nigerians have spoken, and many believe their preferred governor is delivering the results. But the bigger question remains, are these results reaching every state, every community, every home? Because at the end of the day, good governance is measured by one thing: how it improves the lives of ordinary citizens. For S24 Television, I am Hajara Suleiman.
Hello and welcome to Political Arena on S24 Television, and I'm your host, Oniye Shukra. As public conversations are increasingly moving online, so too have concerns about harassment, intimidation, and misuse of digital platforms. While many are arguing that stronger laws are needed to protect citizens from online abuse, others warn that tighter regulation could have implications for freedom of expression and democratic participation. So where should we draw the line? Joining me to discuss this is Nana Fatima Bello, a lawyer, a gender advocate, and a political strategist. Thank you for joining me, Nana.
Thank you for having me.
How do you do today?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Okay, so let's go to the first question of the day. Where does Nigerian Constitution stand on digital rights and freedom of expression?
I would say the Nigerian Constitution, we already have freedom of freedom of expression. We already have it enshrined in our Constitution. So you can see that even though we have that freedom of expression enshrined in the Constitution, we don't necessarily have any form of, digital provision with regards how our freedom of expression is going to be navigated or how we can navigate our freedom of expression within the provisions of the Constitution. So I guess there's the challenge with that. I've been seeing conversations being had about maybe it's time for us to actually implement digital provisions in our Constitution to show the modern times that we live in with how technology is moving.
Okay, so let me move to online abuse in Nigeria. So when we talk about online abuse, what does that what does that contain? What is all of that about?
Well, online abuse, or, as in my space, in the line of work that I do, it's mostly called, technology facilitated gender-based violence, as we call it. you would see different forms of it, but then it's something that people, as we move today with the kind of society we live in, with the whole rise of, banger boys and bands on social media, crews that we do on social media, people usually like to blur the line on what, online abuse entails, because we have things like cyber stalking, we have things like cyber bullying, which is like the most common form of online abuse that there is. We have harassment, we have doxing, we have sextortion as well, we have impersonation, so many different forms that, our people don't necessarily see them as being forms of abuse, but in reality, they actually are. So there's a lot.
Okay, so as social media made online abuse more prominent, or because we now use social media every day, we now see it, or people now have access to do anything they like, abuse anybody, because social media, it's a digital world. You can talk to anybody, you can tag anybody, you can do anything.
Yeah.
So as social media made it more easy for you to see that, oh, this is an abuse, or it has made it more easy for people to commit the abuse?
I think it's a mixture of both, with the rise of social media, we are seeing a rise in online abuse. Obviously, the name is online abuse, so it's happening online. And with the rise of social media and the rise of technology, we are seeing more of that. We're seeing more of people being victims. And then we also have spaces on social media that actually allow people to be the perpetrators of perpetrators of online abuse like this. We have, like, let's say, for instance, I'm speaking from the female perspective, the rise of the manosphere and all the anti-feminism, and all the anti-feminism rhetorics that are going around. You can't even say you're fighting for women without someone coming to insult you, and all of those things. So I definitely would say that social media has made it easier for people to be bullies and to, perpetrate or abuse itself online. But then also at the same time, just because social media exists does not mean that abuse is not happening. Like, we're seeing abuse offline, but then also online because of, social media itself. And because we have so much access, our phones are in our hands. We literally, anything you want to do, your phone is right there with you. You can talk to somebody from wherever it is that they are. You can do this, you can do that just from your phone. So it's making the abuse itself easier. I would say that.
And it's making it easier for you to identify it.
Yes.
Okay, so are they laws related to cybercrime in Nigeria?
Well, yes, I think off the top of my head, I think we have two major laws that deal with this. We have the Cybercrimes Act, and then we also have the Nigerian Data Protection Act as well. So I think those are, should I say, the two major laws that we have, or the two major laws that address cybercrimes in Nigeria.
Okay, so are these laws adequate, or the real challenge here is the enforcement of the laws that are already in place?
To be honest, it's a mixture of both. The laws themselves are not adequate because there are certain provisions that there are certain types of technology facilitated violence that they don't necessarily address. And then we also have the problem of implementation as well. So you can see it's both things that are happening. The laws themselves seem to not be enough. And then at the same time, enforcement for the laws that are already there also seems to be a challenge.
Okay, so at what point does online abuse stop being a personal issue? Like, it stopped being about one person or set of people, and now it is now an issue that the government should look into?
Well, just like with gender-based violence in general, it's something that happens to one person, but then we're seeing more of it happening. It's the same with online abuse. And then for me personally, where it becomes less of a personal issue and more of a general, a public hazard, I like to call it, is the fact that it's not just affecting us, it's affecting children. Children are children online are incredibly vulnerable, especially within the space that we live in. Because I was reading this statistic that said we have over 150 million Nigerians online, and over 70% of those 150 million people are young people. And if you look at the percentage of that 70%, a good number of them are children. Children are incredibly vulnerable when it comes to these online spaces. They don't have any restrictions that are protecting them. They have nothing in space that are protecting them. Like, for instance, this Hamango article that came out about the Hausa Telegram network with the whole CSAM, it's things like this that remind us, or that show you that this is something that is bigger than, this person is insulting this person online. It's something that needs government intervention.
Okay, so political conversations online have become increasingly hostile. And how much of that hostility is being driven by politicians, parties, and their supporters?
politicians and parties and supporters, I would say that's mostly, should I say, I don't want to call it engineered because I don't want to sound like a propagandist, but in the political space we live in, as someone who also does political commentary 1 or 2 times, there is definitely a form of violence that comes with, the supporters of whoever it is that you're criticizing coming to not tell you that, oh no, actually this is what is going on, but coming to tell you things, in a very hostile way, insulting you, some going as far as doxing you, harassing you, sending you threats. So I don't know, I don't want to put out allegations, so I'm not going to say that, oh yes, they are engineering it.
We can put that question on a break. This has been Political Arena. If you're watching, and we will be going on a short break, we'll be back shortly.
each other by signing
we're back from that break, and this has been Political Arena. If you're watching, and my guest has been Nana Fatima Bello, a lawyer, a political strategist, and a gender-based advocate. Okay, so Nana, this brings me to the next question. Could stronger laws against cybercrime or online, if Nigeria has stronger laws today against cybercrime and all of that, your do you think it will restrict the citizens from actually criticizing the government or those in power?
This is a very sensitive, or should I say tricky, tricky question, because personally I don't see stronger laws as being something that would restrict our freedom of expression. I see it as we are actually having laws that would actually protect our freedom of expression. The whole problem comes with how those laws basically eventually get weaponized by those in power, by people that have some form of power wherever it is that they are, that we're seeing how they are weaponizing these laws to infringe on our freedom of expression. But for me personally, if we live in an ideal society, should I say, freedom of expression is something that could be protected by stronger laws, by stronger legislations.
Okay, so how can Nigeria protect freedom of expression while ensuring that digital platforms do not become a space for intimidation or harassment?
It all boils down to accountability. If we're holding the stronger powers accountable, and we are also holding ourselves accountable for what we say online and how we how we converse online. I think that is the most important and the biggest driving force of how we can build or how we can create like a sort of balance between freedom of expression and then having stronger laws and having safer environment for people to be online. It all boils down to accountability.
Okay, so in your own personal opinion, do you think public officials have a right or a responsibility to set a tone for how we use social media?
Well, yes, definitely. I like to think of our political leaders and our politicians as being influencers, because they influence big crowd. They have a bunch of people, a lot of supporters. All they need to do is say one thing and it's Bible, basically. So I feel like, yes, definitely, they do have a responsibility to ensure that they are also influencing their supporters and people around them to ensure that they are creating safer space for people to express their political opinions online, whether it is for them or against them.
So we have, in everything we do, they are always extremists.
Yeah.
They are political extremists, they're religious extremists, they're extremists everywhere.
Yeah.
So do you think these political figures are doing enough to condemn the acts that are being carried out by their fan extremists or their supporters extremists? Or do you think sometimes they're even aiding them to keep on targeting the other person or the other party?
I don't think they're doing enough. I think actually, like I said, I don't want to sound like a propagandist, but there are some forms that you would see. Yes, they are actually influencing, people to continue on with this extremist behavior, because it takes out the accountability from them. It takes out from people holding them accountable, because if your supporters, you can't hold anybody accountable if his supporter is like, oh, if you say anything about him, I'm going to insult you, we're going to harass you, we're going to dox you, and all of these things. So I think because of the fact that they know that the accountability is going to be taken off their heads, they fuel it.
So what role should social media companies play in regulating harmful content, and should they be held legally accountable for failing to act? Before we get into that, recently I was scrolling through one of my social media pages and I saw a post about Meta in India, how one journalist was investigating media in India for promoting harmful content that involve children.
Yes.
And that is India. This is our country. Do you think they're actually doing enough to hold them to responsibility, to hold them to responsibility that they should protect those that need protection?
No, actually, I don't think we're doing enough to hold these social media companies accountable. Recently, I think Telegram was taken off of the App Store for Apple because of, the whole battle that they have with harmful, explicit content relating to children. We don't see much of that happening in Nigeria. We don't see much of, and it's because of the fact that we don't see much of these things happening in Nigeria. You'll be seeing, let's say, for instance, now on Telegram, there's a way that these people bypass all the restrictions that we have on Telegram. Like, for instance, now, Telegram only highlights the English. They only take part of, okay, you're saying this in English. They don't really see, okay, this person is saying it in Hausa. The AI that they have can easily be bypassed just by using Hausa language. And that's what people are doing nowadays. The other languages as well. So, we have all of these things that are restricting, should I say that are restricting them? Or should I say maybe, for instance, they're not doing enough to show that they actually want to show protection, or they want to give protection for, these things that are happening in countries that are not, let's say, English-speaking countries. But yeah, they definitely have to do a lot more when it comes to protecting citizens.
Nigeria has over 250 documented languages, and people come online every day to express themselves in their
different languages.
And then you can't do anything to protect them because apparently it's not English. Okay, so that takes me to the next question. How is online abuse affecting journalists, civil society groups, and ordinary Nigerians that want to participate in conversations that concerns them as Nigerians? How is it affecting them?
This is going to be personal to me because I'm someone that has like a very public presence on social media. And I would say that I have seen firsthand how much harassment goes into just you being on that public, public space and just speaking about these issues. I mean, I have had people go online to threaten me to, they're going to do this to me. They're going to send boys to my house. They're going to do a whole bunch of things to me just because I spoke about something. I spoke about something the government has not done. I spoke about a politician they like and I don't like, or probably I said something about him that they don't like. But then it's putting us at risk is what I would say. We have seen how many times we have seen how investigative journalists themselves have been abducted from their houses simply for trying to expose something that probably someone somewhere does not want to be exposed. So it's definitely putting a lot of people at risk. And then even for ordinary Nigerians, so many people have DM'd me a couple of times saying they want to speak up about these issues, but they cannot because they are scared, because they don't want people to drag them, because they don't want people to kidnap them, We have, for instance, now the issue of Dadiate that's currently going on. We're going on 7 years now without knowing what happened to him. And why? Simply because he was a public critic. And that was all, So things like this are happening, and it's not a good time for journalists and for other people that are vocal to talk about public issues in the country. It's not a good time for them online.
We'll be going on a break and we will be back shortly. Welcome back to Political Arena with me, Oniye Shukra. Nana, this brings me to our next question. With elections incoming, the elections are just in January, and there has been a lot of paparazzis and preparing for it. So should online abuse be treated as a national emergency? Because now elections are coming and people would need to express themselves, will need to support their candidates, and a lot of things going on. So should it be treated as a national emergency?
I would say yes, it should be treated as a national emergency because we have seen the dangers of how extreme online abuse can actually go. And with the elections coming up, I would say yes, definitely. We definitely do need to treat it as a national emergency because even as we are today, people are scared to come out to say that this is who they're coming out to vote for,
It's becoming a threat.
Yeah, it's becoming a threat. It's basically kind of like a threat to your life. You can't even say, okay, yes, this is who I'm coming out to vote for because you're scared of how people are going to react. You're scared that maybe someone somewhere is going to see your face maybe in in real life and pick you up because you said this is the person that you're going to vote for.
And it's becoming a threat to the democracy of the country.
Yes.
Okay, so what lessons can Nigeria learn from other democracies that have introduced laws to tackle online abuse without undermining civil liberties?
What lessons? I think all of them, because as we stand today, especially, should I say, the most important lesson that we should learn from them is enforcement and implementation process, because that is something that is seriously lacking in this country. So I would definitely say that one thing or two things to learn from all these other countries that are implementing all of these policies to protect their democracy and civil societies as well, I would say, is learning from them their implementation process and their enforcement process.
Okay, so that brings me to our next questions. Beyond legislature, beyond laws alone, what practical measures like education, awareness, digital literacy, or institutional reforms are needed to create a healthier online environment for ordinary Nigerians?
Oh yeah, that's because at the end of the day, as much as we like to say that, oh, this is a national, national state emergency that needs to happen, the government needs to do this, the government needs to do that. At the end of the day, we also have a responsibility as citizens to make sure that we are also creating safer spaces for people to exist online. And digital literacy is definitely one of them. Like we said, there are so many forms of technology facilitated violence that we're seeing that people don't even know is a form of violence. They don't even know it's a form of abuse because we've normalized it in a way in our culture, in the way that we live. So I think digital literacy is definitely something. Schools have a responsibility to teach students as well how to exist online safely, whether it is to stop them from being the perpetrators of this kind of violence. We also have, offices, workplaces, hospitals, so many other and even civil society organizations. For the organization that I work in, As We All Support Initiative, there's something that we're doing. We're calling the project, it's called the Safe Click Project, where we're basically giving digital literacy and training students across various campuses here in Abuja and also in Nasarawa State on how they can combat or how they can actually navigate being in online spaces and how they can be safe in these online spaces and how they can make sure that they are not perpetrators of violence in online spaces.
Okay, so they should learn that if I do this, it makes me a perpetrator.
Yes.
And if this has been done to me, it makes me a victim.
It makes me a victim,
People
yes.
should learn that. Okay, so ultimately, Nigeria have different laws. We have different cultures from other parts of the world and everything. What kind of digital society should we aim towards? What kind of digital society should we build as Nigerians?
It's very simple, actually. The kind of digital society that we should aim for is a digital society where everybody feels safe to be online. Nobody should feel scared to say anything, to say an opinion that they have online. We should always aim for creating safe spaces online.
And what role do you think the law should play in doing that? I mean, it takes me back to your profession. What role do you think the law should do?
The law basically takes the role of ensuring that we are protected in a way, because I feel like sometimes I like to tell people that the law is reactive in a way, it's not proactive. But then we also need to make sure that our laws are proactive in ensuring that we actually prevent the abuse from happening before it even happens. Let it not be like the law is coming after the abuse has already happened. We need to make sure that we have laws that, that are addressing the abuse even before it happens.
Okay, so this brings me to the next question. Do influencers, bloggers, and digital media personalities have a greater responsibility to promote responsible online engagement, given their reach and influence?
Oh, yes, definitely. Just like the same way I said, like politicians also have a role to play because of their influence. Influencers and content creators, they definitely do have a role to play because you are basically someone that lives on that public space. You know how it is. You know what it feels like to be victimized in such a public space online. So you definitely do have a responsibility to ensure that whoever it is that is watching you is not watching you to learn a habit that they're going to eventually use to perpetrate abuse on another person.
Yes, and they should not be particular about it. Like, it's none of my business.
Yes, exactly, because it affects all of us. And at the end of the day, it will come back to bite you.
Okay, so looking ahead to the future elections, what safeguards should Nigeria put in place to prevent coordinated online harassment, disinformation, and voter manipulation?
It all goes back to our laws, to be honest. It all goes back to strengthening implementation and enforcement of the laws that we already have that are in existence, Just like I said, we do have strong laws, but then our laws are not strong enough and we don't have strong enough implementation. So I think implementation of our laws to ensure that nobody is being victimized based on, their political stance, I think that's definitely one way to start.
Okay, so moving on to the 2027 election, I'd like for you to say 1 or 2 things to Nigerians ahead of the election.
Okay. Something I would tell Nigerians is, well, it's too late for you to tell you to go and get your PVC now, but I'm hoping that every single person that is of age has actually gotten their PVC. And before you go out to cast that ballot, please know who you're casting your ballot for. Research on the person, and it's not just about the president, it's about your governor, it's about your senator, it's about all of these other people that are going to shape the policies that will shape your life and your future. So definitely try to know the people that you're voting into office and vote people you know you can hold accountable.
Okay, so please help us pass another message to Nigerian leaders on things they should do or how you think they should act
regarding
the national issues and citizens and lots of problems we have currently.
Okay. I feel like they already know what they need to do. It's just a matter of, let it be something that is of urgency to you to do it, because the people are actually going through a lot. We are going through so much. So please, let's do the needful.
Thank you for your time and perspective on this issue. It's been a really educative session with you.
Thank you for having me.
And if you have been watching, this has been Political Arena with me, Oniye Shukura, and on S24 Television. Thank you for your time and thank you for watching. See you next time.
Why are schools becoming targets for kidnappers? It's a question many Nigerians continue to ask as parents live in fear every time their children leave for class. Education is meant to offer hope, yet for some families, the school gates have become a source of anxiety rather than reassurance. Instead of asking children what they learned in school, some parents are left wondering if their children will return home at all. The situation forces us to confront uncomfortable questions. If children cannot safely attend school, is their right to education truly being protected? The right to education is recognized globally as a basic human right. Yet repeated attacks on school continues to deny many children access to learning. Across parts of Nigeria, thousands of pupils have missed months and sometimes years of education. But should children stay at home because criminals threaten schools? The answer must be no. Taking children out of school will hand victory to those who seek to spread fear. Education remains one of the strongest tools for building a secure and prosperous nation. If today's children are denied learning, this country risks losing the doctors, teachers, engineers, and leaders of tomorrow. This is why the remaining children still in captivity must not be forgotten. Their absence is a reminder that behind every statistics is a child with a dream, a family waiting, and a future hanging in the balance. The government must act with urgency, not only to bring every child home safely, but also to ensure that schools once again become places of learning rather than places of fear.
Did you know that what's on your plate could be directly affecting what's on your mind? We often think that food only impacts on our physical health, but experts say it also plays a powerful role in our mental well-being. According to the World Health Organization, diet is a modifiable risk factor for mental health, meaning healthier food choices can help support emotional and psychological health. Research shows that people who follow healthy eating patterns like the Mediterranean or traditional diet have a 25 to 35% lower risk of developing depression compared to those who eat highly processed Western diets. What's the connection, you may ask? Your brain needs nutrients like vitamins, healthy fats, minerals, and antioxidants to function properly. Even more surprising, about 95% of body serotonin, that's the chemical that regulates mood, sleep, and happiness, is produced in the guts. That means what you eat can directly influence how you feel. On the other hand, diets loaded with sugary snacks, processed foods, and unhealthy fats, as well as skipping meals or eating irregularly, can contribute to fatigue, mood swings, anxiety, poor concentration, and even symptoms of depression. So, what's the solution? Choose more fruits, vegetables, grains, fish, nuts, and seeds. Eat balanced diets regularly. Stay physically active, get enough sleep, and manage stress. While eating healthy isn't just a cure for mental illness, it is a powerful tool that supports a healthier mind and body. The next time you plan a meal, remember, you're not just feeding your body, you're feeding your mind too. Start making healthier food choices today, because every bite is a step forward to better mental health.
Welcome back. This is still Morning Digest on S24 Television, and it's another edition of Top Trend, where we spotlight the biggest stories and viral moments dominating social media. And I won't be doing this alone, as our guest Solomon is joining us today again to help us digest today's stories. Let's dive straight into today's business. Hello, Solomon. Good morning.
Gladys, how are you?
How are you doing?
You're looking stunning.
Thank you too. Hope you slept well.
I did. I tried
So
my
are you
best.
ready to go into the business?
Let's dive in.
Okay, so today's story, we have WAEC has held exactly 167,000 results. What can you say about that?
Wow, what could be the reason first? Is it based on my practice?
Yeah, I think that's the nature of the press.
Well, the thing is, but my jam was also with health physics. So my problem with this is Nigeria suffers from accurate data collection. Because I read the story too, and it was under the segment of malpractice, that was the reason. But how do you measure it? Do we have an accurate data that can say, okay, this is why, okay, is it based on irregularities, or we discovered that the majority of people from this particular state or particular area write the same thing verbatim. So if we don't have that exact data, it is almost impossible to agree to what WAEC did. However, if let's assume it is the truth that is under malpractice, I would say it is sad, because I read further that it was they have like 1.5 significant drop compared to last year. And I think I followed last year WAEC result keenly, the news, where when it was released, they also said it was also a significant drop from the previous year. There was a young girl that was rewarded for the best.
Yeah, I saw that story.
That was the best WAEC graduate. They discovered when they were calling her to give her the award, she doesn't have a phone, she doesn't have access to social media. And many people postulated that the reason why she did great was because she had no access to social media, she was able to focus. So I would say there are many reasons I can attribute to a drop in practice.
Okay, so with that amount of are the ones aiding this malpractice, because it's huge. What do you mean 167,000 were held?
I believe it's not from one school, it's different collection of different schools. However, we don't want to wash our debt. But we know that while I was also writing my work, this is they call Miracle Center, where you go and they are practically writing it on the board. So do you get that? So that is how the systems are. But my problem would be that because Nigeria suffers with accurate data, there are people who they may not be engaged in exam malpractice. That will also be caused.
That's where my story wanted to like.
Yeah, because they will lump them together, because this area they see that the answers are similar. They will assume everybody is doing the same thing. This is my problem when we don't work with accurate, verifiable data and we just do random sampling.
And it has an effect on them, because most of them might not register for NICU. I know this WAEC, they need the results to be able to get admission. What do you think it has a negative impact? Imagine waiting and you hear that part of the withheld results, you know, what do you think it has like a negative impact on them?
You know, we can also draw this to say it can also contribute to like depression on teenagers.
Yes,
youth.
exactly.
Imagine watching your peers. They're like, I got admission to school.
Yeah.
And you're like, how far now? Like, they withhold. And there's this drop in energy trying to write your exam again. So we're not just talking about statistics. We're not just talking about research. We're talking about people's future that is held, that is withheld. So I would beg on the work agencies to revisit it.
Should be fast with their investigations.
Yes, I'm not saying they should be lenient with those who are caught in work malpractice, but if in case they are found culpable, they should do the right thing, but they should not just lump everything, because cheating has a grave consequence on people's future. I remember the popular quote by Nelson Mandela when he ascended to the president. There were people who were lobbying to have like a reservation in government agencies, education agency, and he said, I would not give reservation for government agencies, I would not give reservation for education. Because he said, when you allow cheating in education, he said patient is dying in the hands of such doctors. He said building collapse in the hands of such engineers. He said money gets missing in the hands of such economists or accountant. He even went further. He said the society collapse in the hands of such scholars. He said if you want to destroy a nation, you don't have to use atomic bomb or long-range missile. All you have to do is lower the standard of education. So we are not crying, we are not begging for them to lower the standard of education or permit cheating, but due diligence should be done to ensure that the numbers they are throwing out are verifiable data, not just assumption.
I think there's this friend of mine. Okay. Like she wrote her own work and she had issues with her maths and English. And you know, when you want to get admission, maths and English, like the core, you must have credits there. So imagine if you were like one of those people there and you have to receipt, or you find alternative issues like NECO. Probably you didn't have the means earlier. Then it's putting you on hold. Whereas you have a brighter future, you need something to achieve, you need to be there. So I think it has a very big effect on them.
That was really also joined to the fact that I learned they've increased the work fee, registration fee by a significant amount. So it does. There are families who they are practically surviving. They don't have means. It's more like you either pass or pass, and you have your children coming home to tell them that my result has been withheld. It throws like a dead blow on the future of those children. So it's sad, really.
And you mentioned something about a girl being awarded. Yes. And you were like, there were no phones then, and now you know the era that we are in, social media now. Students no longer want to focus, study, and everything. And yes, you have to now indulge in examination malpractice. And you know, you want to just make sure you scale through. Let me just have this credit and everything. And you have been among these people that they withheld results. And why do you think there are still cases, like huge cases recorded about examination malpractice, whereas there are consequences to these things?
You know, you are touching a topic that if you want to stretch it,
we should stretch.
It's called for it.
We should stretch.
Because society does not just collapse or does not just disintegrate. It's layer by layer. A child who grew up in an environment that sees his dad or his mom, is already groomed for cheating. And let's not just touch like students alone. Who are the people rigging election for the politicians? They are professors. So when you grow up to see your professor teaching you that be diligent is the one rigging election that puts your future in jeopardy, you don't have the incentive, you don't have the encouragement to really do the due diligence. Going back to our society, the moral fabric of our society, I will correlate the award given to best student in maybe math, best student in English, best most performing student, and just suppose it with people that are giving this award for fashion. So most often than not, the society does not have a huge and encouraging reward for education. This is also part of what is damping the effort of students. To really go. And now this is not to encourage. I'm not saying this. That on the side. Secondly, social media is a tool that if you don't know how to use it, it can distract you. So even as an adult, because when you're waking up, there's always something trending.
You want to just check.
It's trending. There's always something trending you want to keep abreast, but you must understand that be comfortable with missing something.
You have to draw the line.
Just draw the line, follow the information that just keen to your path.
So do you think these students are lazy? Because let's not lie, most of them, they don't want to read their books and everything. And imagine how that means. You as a student, you are groomed to, when you get back home, you study, you read. And I think back then when I was writing my work, my mom she was laying emphasis on, make sure you study. I won't pay money twice. I will not pay money twice for you to receipt for this exam. Make sure you study your books and everything. So that gave me like that zeal.
Yeah.
And I wrote
to have a parent that was interested in education.
But what if the parent are actually motivating their children, but the children don't want to know?
Yes, it's also a multi-pronged conversation. There are children that people who they have a good parent, who they are trying to instill the value of hard work, diligence, but they're not ready. There's a limit to what you can do. There's a limit really, because the influence of a parent doing this on a child when he's 14, because they're going to school, the chunk of the influence borders around your school, your environment, what you watch online. So my plea to teenagers and the youth would be that just try and understand where you're going and listen to your parents. I love the Gen Zs because they have an energy, they have capacity. However, most often than not, their energy is somehow misdirected. So this is the problem. So you must be
misdirected to where?
Major on what else?
To where?
You must learn to major on what matters. Don't major on the minor. So that is this, because when you focus on social media, will always be there.
It will be.
So you can shut off social media for like 3 months and face your wife. When you are done, you come back. You will not, trust me, didn't miss anything much.
But these phones, this gadget, this social media helps us too. Because I remember then I didn't have a phone. There's no lie. But I was using my dad's phone to check, browse, past questions and everything. But beyond that, I still switch. I will still switch. But I knew like there was a balance, because then I would not want to brag, but I still need to brag. I was actually like the top art student there. So I knew like I needed something, I needed to pursue something, and I placed myself in front of like, this is what I want to have, my JAM result, my WAEC. So I focus and everything. But there's some students that still, they don't want to.
Generation, so you can relate to them, so you can speak.
But don't you think parents should focus more on their children's success and no failure? Like you target them from nursery, primary. What are the courses the subject they are good in? Are they good in this subject or this? So that they can know what they are doing and know the particular subject they are
right?
Because if you keep doing this, what if probably they wanted to study science and
so what you're saying is parents should help
monitor
the strength of the children.
Yes.
Now it's good. However, Jim also know that there are parents who they are not so keen about how their children pass, but they should pass. I've seen cases where parents come to primary school teachers and the children go home with a report card, and the report is written on the report card that this child should repeat this class. And the parents put their foot on the ground and no, my child is not going to repeat this class. He's going to cross with his peers. I remember what Nelson Mandela said: you don't have to destroy a nation by atomic bomb or long-range missiles. Just lower the standard of education. Just learn to cheat. When you teach a child to start cheating at early stage, that is what is informing them. So our cry is also to parents. Are you just interested in your children passing, or say you pass the right way? So that is what I would say. Learn to groom your children to pass the right way, to do the right thing.
At the right time.
At the right time. And limit. But the thing is, even these Gen Zs, you guys are now smarter than most.
Are we?
We've seen cases where boarding schools, the rules are no phones. But how do you guys still communicate with
don't you think? I don't know. I heard about this kidnapping, accidents.
Okay.
Where the parents usually give their children phones, and they're like, no phones. But there's this particular parent that sneaked in a phone to the child. And when that particular accident happened, that child was the only person that survived. She picked her phone, she called her parent,
so
in some cases.
So flouting the rules help. But that is just the minority. But the institution that set those rules, that set those guidelines, you understand that when you are here, your priority now is education. So when you sneak in things that can constitute distraction, not everybody can manage their time. So they set those rules, they set those regimentation as a way of helping you curb distraction so that you can focus. They understand it. They are not. You must understand that the people that have gone ahead of you
Yeah.
have seen things you are yet to see. Even though they may not have the technology you have now, but they've been there. They've had like an experience. So you must learn to understand. Don't try to game the system. In the end, you don't break the rules. The rules in turn break you. So
But
that's what I would
I'm
say.
not sure only social media can be a factor of distraction.
But it's one of the major factors.
But what do you think are other factors? As imagine that like those children,
Yeah.
like the students,
Yeah.
SS1 to SS3, what do you think like can distract them from focusing on their education?
There are many, even, I've seen even children of parents who are having relationships.
That's the truth.
Yeah,
we need to say it. That's honestly.
But I wouldn't want us to
Go, yes.
So, but the thing is, the goal is manage distraction. Do the right thing at the right time. Everything you think you want to miss now, trust me, they are still there for you.
My mom always
this
says
is what
that.
my 2 cents about this work stuff.
And my mom always say, know what to do.
Know what to do.
This thing you are trying to see, you want to enjoy, you enjoy it and more.
Trust me.
So just strike a balance.
Like our street lingo, you go tired, you go tired. So that is just it.
But parents who do support their this examination malpractice stuff. I've had a case where a parent approached a lecturer, like let's put a university from now, and was like, notice my child has not been doing well in her courses and all. I would like to sort you to help my child and everything. And if that lecturer was not it's not principled, it's not imagine if that lecturer doesn't know those values, he would like breach his so what do you think? What's your 2 cents on that? Parents, are they aiding this malpractice?
Wow. I think maybe I will dive deeply into it maybe when we come back.
Okay, now. So we'll take a short break now. When we return, there is more on Top Trends. So do stay with us. Welcome back. We are still on Top Trend, and Mr. Solomon, our guest, has been giving us insightful. The conversation has been engaging and everything. But I would not like us to continue. Let's just go straight into our next story. So this says, I want the APC government to come and take my 6 children from me within 72 hours, and that means 3 days. Says Daniel Solomon, your namesake.
No, it can't be. That is not the original Solomon. The Solomons I know.
So, what was your first impression when you watched that video?
My question is, do APC have an orphanage home? Do they run orphanage home? Because I don't understand why APC should come and take.
But he describes himself as a loyal APC or party man, so he has the right to come out.
Was he the one who sponsored the APC?
He wasn't, but he was part of the people that campaigned for the APC.
So now he campaigned for them with the mindset that they will reciprocate. Like, I've supported you guys to make my life better. And this is what we are saying about not having a nationalist mindset. None of us is free. None of us is okay until all of us are okay. Because we need to be okay collectively. We must understand that if you want a country to work, not just about your family alone. I believe he was supporting the APC government or the APC candidate, whatever candidate. The man said that, God knows that I did lawyer. And when time,
I wish you guys pay me too.
No, it's better for those. We go better for far. So in the sense, now they've won the ticket and they've abandoned him. You see, we must understand that for us to campaign for a candidate, what are the ideologies this candidate, behind every candidate that you're supporting? Do they just want to grab it and run with it, or they want a country that will be habitable for all? Because one of the metric of measurement or judgment that a government is doing well is the marketplace. Whatever you buy 5 naira or you bought 5 naira yesterday, if you go there and today is 100 naira, you should know that inflation has. So I feel for him. I empathize with him. He may have his genuine reason why he supports the government, and now everything has turned. So I would like to
first. So we want to watch the video. Let's go watch the video. Let's see what exactly he said in that video, and we'll get back to you. So let's watch the video. Everything there now. At least a glimpse of it.
The lamentation
Like,
of
do you,
an APC loyalist.
so we say something about it. Do you think this kind of viral video has like a public perception of how they will view this party?
You see, if we've not been, because it's not just the government alone.
Yeah.
Who make the government is a citizen.
Yeah.
Because we're in a democracy where we are free to vote for whoever you want to vote for. However, what are like we said, what are the ideologies that they're campaigning on? So as we're talking now, that same man that is lamenting, if the APC candidate comes this next cycle of election, and he's given, let's even say, a mega sum of 10,000 naira or even 50,000 naira, he will continue to champion their cause.
Yes, for sure.
So
He will.
I sure that when I see that we don't learn to delay gratification,
Yes.
when we're a society of people who want instant gratification, and what is delayed gratification is the act of where you deliberately withhold whatever benefits you should enjoy now for the better tomorrow. But you see, people, even elderly people, and this is where I also reckon with Gen Zs trying to revolt against the quote unquote elders, because elders are supposed to have wisdom, because the beauty and the leverage of elders is their vast experience. They've lived for years, they've accumulated experience, and they should be able to make informed decision that is backed by data and verifiable experience, right? But we've seen where elders come to compromise. Who are, like I said previously, who are the people that are rigging the election for their professors? The professors that have read for how many years? So if we don't start calling for people to have a sense of delayed gratification, I remembered a case when one of my friends who schooled in one of these public universities, he was studying medicine. The first year, they increased their tuition fee at a geometric rate. They had concluded that we're going to go for a protest. We're going to march to the office of the VC and tell them we must revert this tuition fee. They had agreed, they met with the SUG president, and they are all in sync. So they assume. On the day of the protest, the SUG president was nowhere to be found. He was missing in action. Few weeks later, they discovered the SUG president has been invited by the VC and other members, and he was given, as a then, he was given ₦1 million. And with ₦1 million, he turned his back on the same people who elected him to.
Could imagine.
So you see, these are betrayers. So the people that have been betrayed now, if they had the chance to also get into government, they would do the same, because they've understood that people don't have a collective mindset to ensure that all of us should enjoy these benefits. So the cry should be that if he does not favor all of us, let's not go for it. So he's crying out because he wasn't given one appointment. I assume and I believe he was, if he was given one appointment, he will tell his organ, this government go favor me. But now he's not favoring him, he has turned to.
And if you check the comment section, people were like, it's good for you. People were bashing him. Of course, I was like, Nigerians.
Because if he's enjoying, they wouldn't come out to say. The reason why people are now becoming overnight town cries, because he's already biting, the economy is biting hard. That's why they're speaking.
When something does not favor you, that's when you feel you want to speak up.
Do you know how many students have dropped out of school because they could not afford tuition fee? Do you know how many people are even disenfranchised of writing his white because they could not afford it? How much were already writing white before? So all of these things, he is coming out. He wasn't just crying for. He's just crying for only himself, not even others. Assuming he comes, okay, now I've learned my lesson. Next time we're not going to vote for this other party because they betrayed. No, he's talking about he's using his children to gaslight. They're using his children as a bargaining chip to gaslight the government.
But just mention the children. I need to emphasize on that. Don't you think as these children are involved, we should actually see to it? We should look into the matter. What if it could be true?
Gladys.
Yes.
Everybody is going through one or two. I'm not saying this to be.
He has 6 children. I'm not disputing the fact that but don't you think the government should look into the situation and at least the
government
that is actually
so okay, please, dear government, look into the case of the man,
because he said within 72 hours, and I'm sure time is counting.
Sensitive to the children. The children it's sad that they are about to be a collateral damage for the decision. And this is also what I've been. It's just called. It's like a circle that keeps going back to what I've been saying. See, the tree you refuse to plant today will be the shade that your children will be lacking tomorrow. Don't. We've seen others that were begging them. Don't vote in the line of tribe, don't vote in the line of religion, don't vote in the line of now my man and my party. Vote for a collective ideology.
Yeah.
They would not agree. But when the rot now come, when the consequence, when they're bearing the brunt of their consequence, they are crying out. My pain is just for the children. I'm sorry, but for the man, I feel is an adult. I mean, he'll find his way above. For the children, I believe the responsible bodies should come to the aid of the children, like you have said. Because
it still ties the knot to civic participation. Let's take a close look at that. Whereas you have the right to vote and be voted for, participate in all of these campaign too. So I feel like it's a right from his own end to actually campaign for a political party.
You remember, I'm not saying he should be disenfranchised. He should not have the right to participate. There is a quote that says you have the right to choose to make your decision, but you don't have the right to choose the consequence of your decision. So he is facing the consequence of the decision. So we must know that even though we're in a democratic era, democracy has its own consequence. This is why they beg, this is why they do campaign, they do sensation that please vote for this particular candidate because it seems to have the ideology of the people in mind, while these other candidates does not necessarily have the ideology. But if you shun it, you don't turn around to also try to call our favor for us to rally around you. Okay, you have to pick a side. That is it. It's sad, but pick a side. And for the children, I would beg on the responsible bodies to come around so they don't be a collateral damage for the decisions of their parents.
So beyond politics, what does this story have to say about Nigeria in general? In general.
Nigeria, we don't think collectively.
Do we?
We don't think collectively in the sense that once I'm okay, I don't give a hoot about who is around me. And that mindset is a mindset of isolation. And remember, the lone wolf gets eaten quickly. Wolf walked in path because there's strength in numbers, there's strength in we must, like the civic participation you mentioned, Nigeria has not come to a melting point where we sit and say, let's refine our ideology. You know, in other Senate climes, people campaign based on ideology. It's a campaign of facts. Let's put our fact, our data, not in the sense of statistics will go chop. Because you can't argue with data. You know the amount of time it takes you to get to office today. So when you're planning tomorrow, you are planning based on that time. But if you're coming to say, okay, we're not going to do this because this is the time it takes me to get to the office, somebody's going to say, now time will go chop. That time is also somebody's life. The data you don't want us to argue with is somebody's future. So Nigerians should wake up and let's leave sentiment aside, let's leave tribalism aside, let's talk on facts. Let's think collectively that none of us is okay if all of us are not okay. Let's think collectively, not just my papa did throw now. I don't have to say, when they catch a thief, Nigerians say, my thief, leave him. Just leave my alone, my thief. Now our thief, leave my alone. We don't say thief, but now our thief. It's only when the thief is now another story. They say, kill and stone him. That is justice. Have you seen the logo of or the statue of Mother Justice? They blindfolded that because justice is blind. It's not partisan, it's not sentimental. But when you start trading justice for money, this is what we face.
I believe that this the whole video we've seen and everything, it levels the economic hardship we are facing as an individual, and the rising cost of living, transportation, food, even getting yourself treated. Like now, if you're falling sick, it's even a big deal. You can, if I'm even sick, go and look for the local medicine recommendation. Because imagine you falling sick and all of these things, and you can't even do the basic necessity for yourselves. So if that man had a comfortable life, I'm not sure he would have been outside calling on APC government.
You're right. When people are used to survival syndrome, when you can just get by with the barest minimum, you don't think long time. And when you don't think long time, there's a consequence for that. All that matters to you in life should not be your belly.
Yes.
Because like you said now,
your belly first, belly first.
Belly first, but shouldn't be the end. Like the Maslow hierarchy of need is actually food. But when you are done with food, you climb up. But Nigerians, our problem is we sit with that food. You sit with that food, you don't want to climb up. You say, okay, fine, I'm comfortable, I've eaten now. how do we put structures in place? So I know the economy is biting our, but it shouldn't be the reason why we make bad choices. It shouldn't be the reason why you sell your future because of 10,000 naira, because of 4,000 naira, because the 4,000 naira they are giving you for the next 4 years, you will not get 1,000 naira for a year. It's not good. So that is my take.
So if you could implement just one change, what would it be?
Can one change? In what segment? Because it's
like the government, Nigeria general government and everything.
Because
they're trying to see where you can redirect your energy.
Yes, it seems as if the whole system needs reform. But I would say ideological reconstruction. There's a documentary called The Founding Fathers of Africa, the men that built America. If you watch that documentary, the system was built from ground to up. And how was the system built? It was built by first ideology. How was the ideology built? They made it what's it called? Their duty to ensure they play intentional videos on home TVs or on radios of how you even communicate with your peers, on how a man should relate with a woman, on how a young man should dress, called personal grooming. When they were done with that, they also talked about education. They ensure that whatever information that is proliferating the atmosphere are intentionally curated to refine the mind. Because let me tell you something. I saw a story, I read somewhere in the book, I think it was by John C. Maxwell. It was talking about the Great Wall of China. Correct me if I'm wrong. He said this Wall of China, according to the book I read then, that it was built because there was a war going on between China and a neighboring country, and the wall was built primarily to keep the enemies at bay, so they can't come in. But they discovered that the enemy, so that by the time the enemies are trying to scale the wall, they can be hunted down. But discovered the enemies are not having headway. One of their strategy was to bribe the guards of the walls and the guards of the gate so that they could penetrate. And the writer of that story ended by saying, when you build an institution without building the people, the institution will crumble.
Yes, it's true.
My reform would be that build the people first before anything. If you bring a pig to a 5-star hotel, it will still think is a what is it called what is it called is a waterlogged area, and you start dirtying the environment. So it's first mindset reorientation beyond money, beyond everything. Because giving money to a foolish man is a foolish rich man.
What are Nigerians going to eat?
What are
Nigerians?
When you're done eating, what will you do with your life?
Yeah.
So when you feed a slave becomes a welfare slave.
I think that's why most Nigerians can actually buy their interest, because once you just give them money or any item.
Do you know, I've spoken with elderly men who studied around 1984, 1970s. Their dictions, their enunciations, their decorum, their courage is usually more refined than, sorry to say, our generation. Why? Because the standard of education then was set at highest level. Not now. The Nigeria education, I believe this is intentionally curated because an uninformed mind can be easily bent towards any direction. I remember the popular quote of late Adolf Hitler. He said, "What joy is it for a leader to have an unthinking follower?" And I paraphrase that statement to say, "What joy is it for a wicked leader to have and a follower does not think?" Because every good leader should have a follower that think. Because you don't expect me to make audition myself, but if you're a sinister leader, if you're a wicked leader, you must love your followers not to think, because you can easily be bent around. My problem, I don't have the problem with democracy, but my challenge with democracy is that if we have 10 fools and we have 5 wise persons, automatically what democracy is saying that 10 fools holds the voting power that can subdue the 5 wise person. Because when foolish people are strategically located, they can draft good people. So my solution would be mind renewal. So when you are done eating, you must define your mind.
You need to. You should.
Yeah.
So if you are a member of that party and you see your fellow colleague making such clash on social media, what's the first thing that
people misunderstood? You can misassume your place in the setting.
Yeah.
Most people who campaign for politicians think they also have a seat at the table, but they know that they are the menu on the table.
just because they give you the right to carry a campaign, do you think they are the room where they're making decisions? Never assume your place. You don't have a bargaining chip. You are just a tool for winning another election. So even if I'm not advocating for you to sell your votes or to what is it called? I don't know how to say, but what I'm saying is that if you want to campaign for a person, if you want to make sure that you have a bargaining chip that lasts for long, the people that even campaign for now, it doesn't have the means to even enter their convoy.
Assess them.
Know your place in people. That don't let them gaslight. Forget that they come and say you are our people. It's a lie, and you must know that elected leaders are your servants. They are your servant. It's just that the way Nigerian is set up in a place where we've given the leaders too much power to assume that they are the almighty savior. No, they are meant to. They exist to serve you. So this is my take.
So what if these 3 days are?
What?
What if the 3 days now like elapses? And he mentioned that he will put something in the food, and all the children, including him, they will eat and they will die.
I'm sure the responsible authorities will have sprung into action before the 3 days, and I don't think he would.
Are you sure? Because I think him coming to say it might even be like a comeback. Like they might not even likely want to hear what he wants to say again.
I'm not in that position to really. I just hope and pray he doesn't pull through with this plan, really. So this is my take, really. I hope he doesn't pull through with this plan.
So imagine if you're part of like the member. What's the advice you can give to that man? Like at this point of his life, what's that one advice? Because he mentioned something in that video that
go and find work.
he mentioned something in that video that he has lost a lot of properties. I mean, 6 cars. What he said during 2019. Then, so if you like, what's one advice for him? Let's move into the next story.
I don't think there's any level you find yourself in life that you can't pick yourself back up. It has happened. Pick yourself back up.
Will he still support the APC?
It's left for him to answer. I don't know.
Because at this point, that is a big claim.
So, I don't know. I can't say. That's what I would say.
Wow. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more interesting conversation at your peak. Stay tuned. In a very engaging conversation with Solomon.
Yeah, thank you.
So
engaging and
really engaging,
and also fun and crazy. Yeah.
So this story we are about to dive in right now. We are going to the entertainment part. So the serious matters arising. So this part was like, it was a tweet about Falz. Rapper and actor Falz explained in an interview why he chose a full-time career in music over active legal practice after being called to bar. That's a huge. That's what can you just give us small? What can you say?
You are the Gen Z. What can you say first?
Let's say I will. I have a lot to. I have a lot.
I believe Falz, the bad guy, wasn't born into a struggling home. I mean, he's the son of the most respected Femi Fana, the son, senior advocate of Nigeria. So he wasn't born into a struggling home. So it's very easy for him to navigate career path. Do you know that people who are stuck in a career path, not because they can't change, but when you look back, nothing they are. So just the regular. So I feel Falz is gifted. There's something what is it called? Big called the womb lottery. Womb lottery is when you're born into a fortunate family. So Falz is and if you look at his lyrics, I don't think he stopped practicing law. He's still practicing with lyrics because most of his songs are also conscious songs, are songs to awaken the people. So Falz this is what I would say about him, that even though he switched career, his passion for justice hasn't left him because he's still using his song to promote justice.
And Falz is good.
No, it's very
he sings so well. Falz is good.
That guy is sound.
And I heard okay, we're saying something. Okay, you said his dad is a lawyer.
Yeah.
And
his mom,
many
and some of his sisters.
Many people were like, does it mean that his dad forced him to go into that path, that career choice? Like he should go and study law.
Okay.
So what's your
I don't know for sure, but I know there are cases where parent, I won't call it imposed, where parents, by virtue of their available information, want their children to study a
yes.
particular course because they feel is lucrative. Because the end goal of every endeavor beyond your relevance in society is to be able to afford the basic things of life, which is money, economy. So whatever you are doing, if, for example, if you have a child, I'm not saying you have that kind of child, and he comes to and says, "Mommy, I'm passionate about being a vulcanizer."
We are driving somewhere.
Okay. I don't know. I don't know the details. You know, if it's that imposed the career on him, but the decision can also be shared by his environment.
Yes,
so
it
because
could.
he grew up seeing that as a lawyer, his mom, and so he can choose. Okay, and they're successful. So it's very good to pick that career path, because I mean, when you see a successful example, it's very easy for you to lean towards that direction.
So do you think passion alone can build a career? Let's see. Do passion alone build a career?
Passion is a starting point.
Yeah.
Passion is a starting point in the sense that it springboards you. What is passion? Passion is what you are naturally just leaning towards. Yes, you love doing so. But passion alone does not build career. There are many factors that build career: diligence, hard work, punctuality. So these are the things. So passion does not build career. There are other factors.
Okay, so let's just there's this music he released recently. Let's take a look at that song. Let's watch it and see. So you were on. We've listened to the music. I'll rate it out of 10. His song, the lyrics itself.
Yeah, and I love how he doesn't cage what is it called his artistry, in the sense that he can go this side, he can go this side, because Nigeria is diverse. And Falz intelligence has learned to master and weave that into his craft. You know, it's interesting, but it can be limited when your song is only a certain demography or a certain tribe can relate to it in Nigeria. But one of the things I believe Falz is trying to do is to bridge that gap where it can be flexible with his craft, that any tribe and any demographic can relate with it. And that is what he has done with this recent song.
And I love how he carries himself, the lyrics, everything, the way he embodies it. With that degree, guys, good.
So that's why I said, even though he stopped practicing law, he's still practicing through his craft, through his.
And he's taking him far.
Yes, of
he's
course.
already there. Let's just say,
beyond the sky.
Yes. So this fall back to me asking you if passion is alone to build a successful career. Because for me, I don't think when you have passion, you should have something that is driving
passion?
that.
So to say sometimes passion, how I see passion is a strong affinity for something. There are times you are lucky when your passion is woven in what you have when you are skillful about. There are people who are passionate about food, but if they boil water, it will burn. So there are people who are so passionate about flying an airplane, but they can't. So passion in itself is just like something, is a pool. But you must first ask yourself, do I have the skill to back up my passion? So passion is not enough. Is not passion alone is not enough. You must understand. You must ask yourself, do I have the requisite skill to back up my passion? Because what is passion? It's just a strong pull, a strong affinity for something. So when you are not drawn into it, if you're kind of, have you seen situation where people are playing this roadside ball and say, let me play, and you put the person into the field and the person messed up. So passion is not enough. That several feet in which passion must hinge on.
You must build it with hard work, because you can't just sit and like, I want to be a doctor, and you're just sitting. Every morning you wake up, you drink pap. You don't project.
You can be a doctor.
You have to work towards it. There are things you need to do to get there. You don't just have that, okay, I want to be this without doing anything about it.
Of course.
So do you think, or do you believe, or what's the word I can use this, that parents should still choose careers for their children? This is a very huge one.
Maybe because as I grow older, I choose my words carefully and sparingly, in the sense that like the great Mike Tyson would say, everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face. There are several reasons why parents choose career for children. Most times we focus on the negative reason. There are parents who, by virtue of the circumstances that surround their life, they weren't able to follow the career path they are passionate about what they so desire.
Yes.
Now they don't have the means, or they have a parent that wasn't so understanding. They have the kids, they have the children, they have their children now. They felt, I want to live my dream
Past
through the
existing
children.
life.
So my past life that I
Yeah.
wasn't able to live, I want to live it through my children. Sometimes is a problem because if the child skill or the child desire does not align with your desire for him, it can be a problem. You'll be at a loggerhead. But there are rare cases where there are parents who want to live their dream through their children, and the children passionate aligns. It's also go. So secondly, there are also children who, it's not as if they have a failed dream. They are doing exceptionally well. They've seen the trajectory of the economy. They've known where life is heading towards. I mean, with the rise of AI, imagine your child coming to you and say, "Mommy, with this all technology, mommy, I want to be, you know, have you watched those? I don't want to call it. Let me go. Okay, don't say, mommy, this is no shit to any profession.
No,
I
no.
want to be a vulcanizer."
Ah.
What would you say? Do you remember? I was saying,
Eh?
what would you say?
If my child comes to me to tell me that kind of thing, I feel like you should actually sit that child down.
Okay.
My dear, why do you choose to do this?
Okay.
What's this? What's
I
the
know. I noticed those roadside vulcanizers. They have biceps because over time they've been lifting those heavy irons.
then you
They are
should
masculine.
put to the child that this is what they do.
Okay.
This is their ends meet. This is where it's taking them to.
Okay.
So you have to bring the positive side and the
I think I
negative
reckon
side
with where you're
to the
coming
child.
from, in the sense that even though you must course correct the
Yes.
child, you must have like a reasonable conversation, not being imposed. Is it impossible?
Like impose
just
it on the
imposing on
child.
the child, in the sense that because the child will now feel like I don't have a say about my life, and in the end, I'm really want to bear the brunt. So I will reckon with you in the sense that even if parents have like a more vast knowledge about this child career, you should have like a sit down, because my Gen Zs, I love their energy. However, because sometimes we have like a limited experience, you want to know the why behind every decision.
Yes,
so like you
they
said,
do.
you have like a sit down with the child to say, okay, my child, how many vulcanizer do you know that have like a 5 duplex or drive like a nice car?
Yeah.
Because the testament of I know people will not argue. The moralists will argue and say, is money the bedrock? Somehow it's still money. Is the money the bedrock of any decision you're about to take? It's also money.
Yeah, it needs to be
So
considered.
you have to ask the child, this career path you want to choose, how many people do you know in this field that are exceptionally successful, that they can fend for themselves with ease? So when you start asking the children those logical questions, they sometimes arrive at the logical end conclusion even before you do. So what you are saying is parents should not be, I know our African style of parenting sometimes is a
Let's not
military
go
style.
there.
You either agree or you agree, or get out of
Yes.
my house. And most often than not, parent has lost an opportunity to have
Connection with their child.
Yes.
They don't have that.
Now the children go up and fall into the hands of the wrong people. So, and I believe parents are now understand. They are now
Yes.
getting to understand that it's not about being high-handed.
Yes.
You have to now approach you using soft approach. Just like the reason, how come to a reasonable conclusion. This is what I understand.
Okay, that I think that was what a similar thing happened to me earlier when I was in secondary school.
Yeah.
When my mom was like, "You must go for science." Like I was in Gestry, and I was like, she was like, she's obsessed with the whole medical stuff, and she wanted me to go for that. I was like, "Mommy, no. I love arts and I want to go for this." She was still insisting. Although my dad was the kind of person that he would want to like, why? But my mom was no. At one point, I had to go to the back to go and meet my principal. I was like, "Sir, no, this is what I want." I chose the course and actually graduated with like one of the best art students. And I feel like parents should actually understand and know exactly what their child wants. And they should build a connection that if I speak to my child, will my child listen to me? Is there a feedback between I and my child? I think yes, there should be. I think that
and one style parenting doesn't work for all the children. They have individual differences.
They have.
There are some people that just want you to have like Let the conversation be friendly manner. Take me out. There are some people that just buy me a gift and
I will understand what
so
you're
but as
saying.
of children that they would stand their feet. If you want to be aggressive, they are ready to fight it to the tail end and they will not budge. And you see fracas. So
And this
you made a
boils
very
to
good point.
it
and I
boils to
agree.
what is happening in our society today, where we parents don't have anything to do with our children. They lost the connection, and most African parents are assuming that my child knows me, my child knows me, but you don't know that secretly we battle with a lot of things behind us, and we can't
This is a
tell.
conversation we'll stretch
This is a
on
really
one
good
day.
conversation.
Yeah.
This is a really good, but we've been having a lot of conversation from the start, and it has been an insightful journey to Mr. Solomon. I really enjoyed every conversation, every bit of it, every bit of it. And this is where we draw the curtain for today. It's been a great conversation, and we hope we've given you something to think about. Thanks to our guest, Solomon, and to everyone watching out there. I do hope you pick one thing, just one thing. I am Gladys Asuko. I'm your host, and this has been Top Trends on S24 Morning Digest. See you on the next episode. Bye for now.
So, this young woman was publicly caned 21 times for kissing a man during a TikTok live. The images have gone viral, leaving many people wondering, did this really happen? Well, the answer is yes, but only in certain places. The incident happened in Aceh, a province in Indonesia with a special autonomous status that allows it to enforce Islamic Sharia law. Unlike the rest of Indonesia, Aceh prohibits physical intimacy between unmarried couples, including kissing. According to local authorities, a 22-year-old man and a 25-year-old woman kissed during a TikTok live stream while sitting inside a car. After the video spread online, residents reported them and they were arrested. A Sharia court sentenced them to 25 lashes each, but the sentence was reduced to 21 because they had already spent 4 months in detention before trial. The punishment was carried out in public, but Aceh is not the only place where public displays of affection can have legal consequences. Countries such as Saudi Arabia and Iran have historically enforced strict morality laws restricting intimacy between unmarried couples, although enforcement has changed over time. In the United Arab Emirates, Qatar, Kuwait, and parts of Malaysia, public displays of affection can also lead to fines, arrest, or prosecution, depending on the circumstances and local laws. Outside the Middle East and Southeast Asia, some countries also have laws against public indecency. However, these laws are generally aimed at explicit sexual acts rather than a simple kiss, and penalties are usually much less severe. There have also been several high-profile incidents involving tourists. In previous years, foreign visitors in countries such as the United Arab Emirates have faced legal trouble over public displays of affection, highlighting how local laws can differ significantly from what many travelers are used to. The case has reignited debate around the world. Supporters say Aceh's laws reflect the province's religious and cultural values, while human rights groups argue that punishments like public caning violate human dignity. Perhaps the biggest takeaway is this: what may seem normal in one country can be a criminal offense in another. So, before your next international trip, take a few minutes to understand the local laws. It could save you from turning your vacation into an international headline.
Why are schools becoming targets for kidnappers? It's a question many Nigerians continue to ask as parents live in fear every time their children leave for class. Education is meant to offer hope, yet for some families, the school gates have become a source of anxiety rather than reassurance. Instead of asking children what they learned in school, some parents are left wondering if their children will return home at all. The situation forces us to confront uncomfortable questions. If children cannot safely attend school, is their right to education truly being protected? The right to education is recognized globally as a basic human right. Yet repeated attacks on school continues to deny many children access to learning. Across parts of Nigeria, thousands of pupils have missed months and sometimes years of education. But should children stay at home because criminals threaten schools? The answer must be no. Taking children out of school will hand victory to those who seek to spread fear. Education remains one of the strongest tools for building a secure and prosperous nation. If today's children are denied learning, the country risks losing the doctors, teachers, engineers, and leaders of tomorrow. This is why the remaining children still in captivity must not be forgotten. Their absence is a reminder that behind every statistics is a child with a dream, a family waiting, and a future hanging in the balance. The government must act with urgency, not only to bring every child home safely, but also to ensure that schools once again become places of learning rather than places of fear.
Hello viewers, good morning and welcome to yet another edition of the Sport Desk, where we go beyond the headlines to explore the stories, decisions and moments shaping the world of sports. I am your host, Udokan Godspower. On today's show, we will be looking at the Super Falcons statement victory at the Women's African Cup of Nations to reach the quarterfinal, and the Flying Eagles' continued push for another regional title. We'll also be taking a look at Arsenal's reported move for Bruno Guimaraes and what the deal could mean for their new season's ambition. And finally, we examine the growing concerns after athletes were reported missing following the Commonwealth Games. 4 important conversations you don't want to miss happening right here on the Sport Desk. Joining me on the desk today are my colleagues, Stephen and Olawale. Good morning, guys. How are we doing today?
I'm doing exceptionally well.
Steven, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Okay, I'm good.
I hope you guys are excited for the conversations.
Yeah, super excited. There are a lot of things that we cannot wait to dissect.
Steven,
definitely excited. Because we're going to talk about my country. So
yeah,
I'm ready.
Awesome. Let's start right here at home with the Super Falcons. Yesterday, they trashed Egypt by 6 goals to 2 to make it to the quarterfinals at the ongoing WAFCON. The Super Falcons are the defending champions, so they are there to defend their title. They started on a very, very disappointing note, losing to debutant Malawi before eventually bouncing back against Zambia, and yesterday making it to the quarterfinals with a statement victory. What do you make of their performance yesterday?
Overall, it was decent, but I'm not moved because Egypt is a country that was defeated by Malawi and also trashed by Zambia. And looking at it from the fact that we needed goal difference to qualify, so I'm not impressed. They are now improving. You know, they lost, they won 1-0, and now giving us a figure that we are already used to. But I wouldn't say that I'm impressed. But it's still a good one overall. But I'm not yet impressed.
Okay, Steven, 6-2. This is the kind of scoreline we've been used to seeing with the Super Falcons. What do you make of their performance? Were you impressed, or
it was good? Because it's, to be honest, it was good because in football anything can happen. I was first losing it at first because I thought we're not going to get out of that group stage. But with that, a bit impressive performance and a very good goal difference, I could say we tried.
Okay.
And seeing that we're trying to pick up the pace and we're trying to get ahead on our game, I would say it's a good one because now we are in the quarterfinal. So, the quarterfinal says a lot. Let's see what I'm just trying to say. Let's see what to expect from the Super Falcons in the
Falcons.
quarterfinal.
Yeah.
So
It was really a close one from the group stage. We had Malawi, Zambia, and ourselves having 6 points, but we scaled through on based on the head-to-head system CAF uses. That was, I wouldn't say impressive, but at least we are through and looking forward to the next game. What did you think changed between the defeat to Malawi and now the win against Egypt? What difference have you seen? What do you think has been changed? Maybe what do you think the coaches have done to lift up the spirit of these girls to produce a performance like we saw yesterday, given the slow start they had?
Well, judging from the pre-match statements made by Ajibade, she said that the Super Falcons will give everything, and she even went as well as giving a very emotional and motivational talk where she said they could die
on the pitch. Exactly, yes.
Okay, so I like that in football, when you say something and then you do it. It shows personality. Yeah, it shows that they're actually on a mission, and it's a reflection on the fact that the start to the tournament was underwhelming. So I really think coming out to say that and then putting up the kind of effort that they did, and with the scoreline, it's a very positive thing for them to take to the next stages.
Stephen?
You know, when you are trying to lift the confidence of the player, you have to say the right things. I feel like they lost it at first, and I feel like there was a one-on-one session with the coach. We didn't know what happened back there, but we could see what happened back there. So there was like a one-on-one section with the coach, or probably there was team, you know, when the team come together and inspire themselves. So I feel like that was what happened, because it seemed like Super Falcons, they always like do well, especially when it comes to games like football. So for me, I feel like there was conversation, there was motivation, and there was improvement. They had to give it their all. They have to give it their best. They took the game to for them, they felt like this game, they needed it. You know, when you have when you are your last result and you have to give in your all to like win that particular tournament, I felt like they gave it their all, and kudos to the coach because he didn't give up on them. You know, I felt like it was at the stage where people were already giving up on the Super Falcons, but kudos to the coach, kudos to the fans, and kudos to the country.
Steven, see, the victory was good, but we have to also be realistic here.
Yes.
Everybody in that group stage defeated Egypt. Zambia trashed them 5-0.
Okay.
Hold on. Then Malawi also did theirs. So it is normal for the Super Falcons to win that game. So I think maybe in the next round, we can now see the level of performance and the scoreline before we justify this as them being motivated. Because the Egyptian team, they were a scroll-through team in that group.
Yes.
Everybody was just beating them. In fact, everyone before that game anticipated a high score line because of the potential of that Egyptian team. They were a weak team. So please, let's not give them kudos where it is not wholesomely due.
But with football, you know, there is nothing like will I say a lesser nation in football. It's 11 players on the pitch, 11 for both sides. Anything can happen with football. Let's look at the
But the
World
scoreline is
Cup.
the scorelines have been doing the talking.
But let's look at the World Cup that just concluded. We have teams like Cape Verde, and all those little teams that were underrated. And we could all testify to how they performed at the World Cup.
Did they go ahead to win the tournament?
They didn't win the tournament, but their performance was impressive.
Have an underdog won the World Cup?
Not really. But their performance was impressive. So
performance can be impressive. We're talking about results here. The Super Falcons are the most prestigious and prolific team in that tournament, based on record, based on the type of players that they have. So we cannot expect less from them. I cannot blow their trumpet when they are not giving the actual work that we expected. So I'm just very straight on this conversation.
Okay, Mr. Wale, you have a point, but let us be realistic here. You know, we needed a win. to be very honest, to be very factual. Because a country has been defeated by all countries doesn't mean that country is a bad country. I can tell you that if anything could have happened in football, whereas Egypt could have beaten Nigeria.
Okay.
You know, the whole country
Just
beating
like the way
different countries were beating Egypt, and then Egypt could have turned the tables and beat Nigeria. And then Nigeria would not have progressed. But I'm telling you, a win for one is a win for all. Nigeria needed that win, irrespective of the country. It could be any country, but we needed that win. And that's why we are going to the quarterfinal. And so I'm going to say it again, a win for one is a win for all. So it's now the quarterfinal that will now tell us where Nigeria stands.
Yes, let's leave it at that.
Okay,
then.
so talking about the quarterfinals, we'll be facing Cameroon in the quarterfinals
Yes.
On Sunday, I believe. Do you think Nigeria stands a chance against Cameroon? Do you think we are now one of the solid contenders to win this year's Women's African Cup of Nations once again?
Well, I'm optimistic as a Nigerian.
Okay.
But as a sports person, I'm going to have to admit that I'm a little bit of a pessimist here. I don't have high hopes. I'm a realist right now, based on what we are seeing, because it seems that women football has already grown and is already catching up on our dominance. Like other teams are improving.
Yes.
So if we do not sit right, put their heads in the game, and execute the tactics that has been given to them by the coach, we are not going to get the result that we are already used to.
Stephen?
No, yes. Because we had an impressive performance last night doesn't mean we are the genuine contender, because we still have a lot to prove.
Okay.
You know, when it comes to proving something, you've done a part of it, you have to do the full parts. So for Nigeria, the quarterfinal is another game that will decide. If they win the quarterfinal match against the Cameroon, then I can decide that we still have a slight chance of getting there, because it's a game. Players are competing. Nigeria is competing, other countries are competing, everybody's competing. We all want to get to the final. So I'm going to tell you, we're not yet there. Not yet, but we are going to be there.
Okay. All right.
I believe in Nigeria for now.
Oh, that's interesting. So let's just do a quick prediction. For Sunday, we are facing Cameroon. What do you think the results?
I'm predicting 2-1 in favor of Nigeria.
Stephen?
Yeah, 2-0 in favor of Nigeria.
Also remember that fixture also comes with the pressure of the World Cup tickets attached to it.
Oh,
yes. Wow. So 2-1, 2-0 to Nigeria. Interesting. We hope our girls makes us proud on the African stage, as they have always done. Let's quickly move on to the Flying Eagles, still back home for us. They have been, the WAFUB Under-20 Championship has been going on alongside with the Women's African Cup of Nations. And so far, so good. The boys have been impressive. They won their first group game against Ghana by 4-0 or so. They defeated Togo 3-0. Lost their last group game. I think they rested players because they had already made it to the semi-finals. But yesterday, they made it to the finals after defeating Côte d'Ivoire 4-3 on penalty. It was 2-2 for 120 minutes. Eventually went to penalty and they won. What do you make of their performance so far? Are you impressed with what you've seen with the young lads?
Yes, I'm impressed. I mean, we have to give kudos to them. We have to pay attention to these younger generations as they are coming up. Because if you look at how some of our players have progressed, we've seen the likes of Osimhen coming through the ranks, the junior level to the main team. So we need to pay attention to what they are doing, whether the competition is regional, whether it's a world competition. We need to pay attention and look out for these players and give them the support. So based on their performance, making it to the finals, I am very happy and I'm very confident, because if you look at the energy that they put into the game, it was a very, very tough encounter, but they surmounted the adversary at the penalty stages. So kudos to them. I'm looking forward to them lifting the competition at the end of the day.
Stephen?
To me, it was not just more than a win for me. It was like a display of composure, resilience, and the ability to deliver under pressure. Because look at it, you know, when you play football, you play for your 90 minutes. There are a lot of expectations in that 90 minutes. Okay, let's just say the first half is played for 45 minutes. The next first half is played for 45. The second half is played for 45 minutes, and then a lot of expectations. And there are sometimes when we slide into the extra time before we now go to the penalty shootout. So for me, it was a very good
And penalties can be very nervy.
Yes.
Even the best of players flops when it comes to
It's
penalty
usually-
because
most
of
times
the
it's usually a game
level
of
of
love.
pressure.
The pressure is too much. It's too high because one miss on a penalty shootout
Can decide the fate
creates
of the
loss
entire team. Yeah.
so yeah. Kudos to our Flying Eagles.
Interesting. Just a quick one. Do you think the team should be judged based on trophies or the performance we have seen?
Based on both.
Quick one, yes.
Based on both.
Trophies and
Yeah,
performance. we've seen.
Nigeria is very big in sports, in football, in particular in Africa. So whatever level you're representing, you cannot do less. Fantastic performance is nothing without evidence. Evidence matters.
Stephen.
You're not supposed to even separate them. It is performance then trophy. So for me, a good performance, you can have a very good performance and not have a trophy. And you can have a bad performance and still win a trophy.
Okay.
That's how it works for me. So for me, it's going to be, they both work together, but I'm still going to say a trophy is very, very important because it's going to display what you've won. And for a performance, people only talk about your performance, but they will not see the evidence of your performance. So so I'm going to say the trophy is the evidence of the performance.
Definitely.
Okay. They've been impressive, and we hope they will go on to win the competition when they play the final. This has been Sport Desk. We'll be going for a short break. The conversation continues right after. Welcome back from that break. The conversation right here has been interesting with my colleagues Ola and Stephen. Let's just dive right into our next conversation for the day. It's Arsenal's 75 million signing of Brazilian midfielder Bruno Guimarães. Arsenal coming off the back of winning the Premier League after 22 years. Fabrizio and other journalists confirmed yesterday that they have agreed a 75 million deal for the midfielder. Do you think that fee is a fair price for someone who is 29? He's into his prime. Do you think 75 million pounds is a fair price for someone who is 29?
Well, transfers these days have been highly inflated. Smaller teams are taking advantage of the top dogs. Once they have a player that has dropped in strong performance for 1 or 2 seasons, they are hyping up the price. So for Bruno at that age, I think that money is too much. 75 million pounds is what we are talking about here. Based on performance and experience, I think he fits the bill. And this transfer also reflects Arsenal's ambition. Last season they went to the Spanish La Liga to sign Zubimendi, who is also a Spanish national that won the World Cup. And I think maybe his signing is a little bit overwhelming because as at last season, it was a marquee signing. And now they are bringing in Bruno, who has Premier League experience, who has the potential as well. And Bruno is a marquee signing. So that means that Zubimendi is already going to be going to the bench. And now look at the profile of the midfielders Arsenal are trying to bring together. We have Mika Merino, we have Declan Rice, now we have Zubimendi, and now they are bringing in Guimarães. And we still have Eze and
Odegaard
there.
Yes.
So this is a champion's move if you want to look at it from that perspective. But for finances, I think the money is they are overpaying for him.
I have a question on that, but let's just quickly hear Stephen's opinion on 75 million pounds for a 29-year-old Premier League proven midfielder, we can say.
To me, it's still it's a fair price.
It's a fair price?
Oh, see, I'm going to come in from the coach's perspective, Mikel Arteta. Losing Champions League at the final stage to penalty against PSG was a great loss for Arsenal because they just won the Premier League and they were still playing. Then they competed for the final of Champions League. So Mikel Arteta is trying to build something for this season. Look at the dangerous midfield. To me, right now, I'll tell you that Arsenal has the best midfield right now. If this deal is finalized, because if you have the likes of Lewis Kelly, Odegaard, Eberechi Eze. Now you have Gumares and Declan Rice. Gumares and Declan Rice. Even if you watch Newcastle game, that's where against Arsenal.
He's the engine room of that team.
Yes. If you see him playing against Arsenal, this Bruno Gumares, the way he tackles all the players, that guy is an aggressive midfielder.
But,
and that kind of aggression is needed in the midfield.
But don't you think they had someone like Tonali
Tonali,
also? Don't you think that also
helped
his performance?
Well, before Tonali came, Bruno has been performing. Yeah. And even for the national team, he's also been performing. So he's a fantastic player. So having Declan Rice by his side is going to amplify their performance. So I think Arsenal is doing a fantastic business. Yes, getting the experience.
So their fans should be super excited.
Yes, I don't wish them well. I don't wish Arsenal well.
Why? I don't want.
I'm a Manchester United fan,
you don't wish them
but
well.
I'm just going to be realistic.
Let me tell you something. Arsenal is building a scary midfield.
Are you an Arsenal fan?
No, I'm not an Arsenal fan, but what I'm going to
wish
see.
Them well? You wish them
I wish them well because I saw what they played last season and the previous season.
Okay.
And they were excellent. To be very honest. They got disqualified by PSG in that not even the final, the previous Champions League.
2 seasons
ago. 2 seasons ago. The same PSG
won them
in the final.
Yes.
And now they're coming again with this scary midfield. One thing that makes the whole team is a midfield. The midfield is like the central action of the game.
Yes, the heart of
football. Let me just say the act of football. So if they can have that kind of midfield, I heard Mikel Arteta say what he's trying to do. He's trying to reclaim everything he has lost. Arsenal this season, I want to tell you all fans and everybody, please look out for Arsenal this season. Man U, Chelsea, look out for Arsenal.
Please, I don't want to believe Arsenal will do anything.
I'm disappointed.
It has to be glory Manchester United.
Okay. Yes, that is Manchester United.
Okay.
Yes. Manchester United.
For Arsenal, it's watching them with passion all through the season.
For Premier League, I will give my full support to Arsenal. I'm a Real Madrid fan, but I'll give my full support to Arsenal.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Okay, so let's look at it from this angle now. Arsenal has the best squad. We can say one of the best squad or one of the best squad in the world and in the Premier League. They have a midfield formation of Declan Rice, Eberechi Eze, Martin Odegaard, Zubimendi, Mikel
and now
Moreno,
Fabio Vieira is back. Fabio Vieira is back from his loan from Porto.
They have Luis Kelly there. Kai Havertz is also a midfielder who can play at 10.
Yeah.
Do you think Bruno Guimaraes coming into this team gets into the starting 11 immediately, or he would have to now prove himself and break into the team gradually?
I think he's slotting in right in. They do not have a defensive midfielder on Bruno's level. If they do, they won't be going for Bruno in the first place. He's not a squad signing. Like I said earlier, he's a marquee signing. He's slotting in right into the starting 11. So that's just that. I don't see Bruno competing with any other person.
But I thought you said he's coming in as a 4 or as a 6?
As a defensive midfielder.
Is that not where Declan Rice plays for Arsenal at the moment?
If you look at it, when Declan Rice goes forward, Zubimendi gives Declan Rice the opportunity to advance. Now, you cannot play Declan Rice as a sitting defensive midfielder. It's like you're limiting his potential.
Okay.
And that's why you see him register goals and even assist. Sure, you understand now. So Bruno is situated at the heart of the defensive midfield. That is where he likes to operate. So Bruno's presence is going to be giving Declan Rice the opportunity to even cause more damage to teams.
So at the moment, you don't see anybody that would be dropping Bruno on the bench.
Aside from injury, I don't see anybody putting him on the bench.
Honestly, I like this perspective of a Manchester United fan. Thank you for saying that about Arsenal. You guys should watch out this new season.
No problem, no problem.
Because there'll be a lot of
watch out for Manchester United too.
Also.
Yes.
Okay. You're both my fans.
Give us your opinion. Give us your opinion.
Okay. For me, it's a good one. I'll see him starting because in football you need aggression. Aggression is the only thing that can help players move forward. Okay. So for me, it's going to play that defensive midfielder very perfect for them because I saw his aggression. Especially against Arsenal. First thing I'm going to talk about is adaptation. He needs to come into Arsenal and adapt. To be very honest, I watched some of his previous highlights, especially against Arsenal, and he hurt some players in Arsenal really bad. Like, he really, really hurt some players bad. So he needs to come in and adapt first. Because, once you come into a team, you have to familiarize yourself with your team players before that's this whole setup thing. So I feel like he needs to come and adapt. Then he's an impressive player. No, on the top note, even if I didn't really see much of him at the World Cup in Brazil, but I know for sure that he is an impressive player and he's going to make a very good exemption from Arsenal.
Okay, let me quickly get your opinions on this. With Bruno coming into the squad, do you think Arsenal are now prepared to defend their Premier League title and maybe eventually go ahead to win the Champions League this season? Do you think they are ready for that?
No. They will not win the Champions League. They will not win the Premier League. They are not ready. They are not good enough. Last season, winning the league was a fluke. Do you know that
they lost yesterday?
Yes, against Real Betis.
They lost.
Let's even leave that now. There are now laws in the Premier League, officiating laws, banning their tactics for corner kick. You know, that gave them, set pieces gave them an edge where they overcrowd the box 18 and then they make the keeper very uncomfortable and they take advantage of that situation. We're not going to be having that this season.
Steven.
They were in semi-final, previous Champions League. They were in final, recent Champions League. They will be in the final, the next Champions League. See, no, I'm a Madrid fan, but when I watched Madrid play against Arsenal, I was disappointed in Madrid. To see a team like Arsenal come against Madrid, beating them 4-0, and then coming back to beat us 2-1 again. It was.
Do you know during the era of BBC, Bale, Benzema, and Cristiano Ronaldo?
Yes.
Atletico Madrid under Diego Simeone was making finals back to back.
Yes, without
winning. Who was defeating them? Real Madrid. So it is not about making the final. It is about winning.
Yes.
So that's why I said earlier that performance is performance. But winning the trophy is the most important thing.
Sorry, I have two questions to ask the both of you. For the teams you guys are supporting. Aside Arsenal, do you think Man U can go forward in this Champions League? Look at the old signings going on right now. A lot of teams are signing different players. Do you think Man U can make an impression?
I think
you shouldn't
be initiating a performance-based impression.
Yes.
In Champions League, when it comes to Manchester United and Arsenal.
Do you know what, Steve?
I'm a 3-time champion here. Arsenal has not won the Champions League.
We won't give you an answer to that question today. We might talk about that tomorrow.
Don't even bring Champions League and Arsenal together.
Let's focus on what we have at hand today.
Okay.
So, well, let's see how the move goes for him. We hope he performs well, he does well, because it's a huge price tag he has on his head. We hope he justifies that price tag. Let's just quickly move to our last conversation for the day. And this conversation is surrounding the just concluded Commonwealth Games in Glasgow. We saw amazing performance from so many countries, Australia, England, our own very Nigeria. But we've seen some controversies happening. Recently, there have been reports that some athletes went missing. They went missing.
No. They go chop life.
Okay, they go chop life. They went to eat life because they were supposed to return back to their country, and their federations are reporting that they haven't found them. What do you make of this kind of stories? Bear in mind that this is not the first time this kind of thing has been happening.
It has happened before.
In the Commonwealth Games, even in the Olympics, there are athletes that have gone to the Olympics and disappear. Yeah. So what do you make of such stories?
It's a social problem. It's an international problem. Every country, one way or the other, they are facing it right now.
Okay.
Yeah. So we have to address it as a nation and in Africa as a continent.
Okay.
This kind of thing is not supposed to be happening. It's bad reputation for us.
Steven.
He's right. It's a social problem because if you live, I feel like they saw a good facility. They saw potential. They saw potential ways for them to improve in their talents.
Okay.
Maybe they came across good facility because, like you said, it has not happened before. The previous one that happened, those boxers saw facility. They even went to one under training district to go and start boxing in the country they went to go and compete. So I'm going to say it's facility. They saw good facility. They saw a place where they can improve in their potential. So that was why they were able to.
A quick one before we round up the conversation, as we don't have a lot of time on our hand.
No
problem. Do you think these issues are coming up based on the poor welfare these athletes are having, or based on the economic situations in their various countries? Because these athletes, the report says 4 were from Uganda, one from, I think, Pakistan or India, one of those countries.
Pakistan,
Okay.
So what do you think is the causes of such
I don't think
issues?
it's welfare. I think it's their mentality.
Okay. Stephen.
It's welfare because if I look at the scenario, they saw facilities that they've never like used before. Maybe they saw scouts saw them and then give them a due.
No, scouts would have done it with due process.
Yes.
This is a case where these athletes absconded. Do you understand?
And there were even reports that some of them even said they were actually going to seek asylum in those countries.
Yeah, so it's an intentional act.
I feel like,
and we shouldn't be going through this in 2026. It's bad PR for Africa.
Yes. Stephen, you have something to say?
Just okay, it's right. It's a very, very disappointing thing because they didn't follow due process. But to be very honest, maybe they wanted to do something else and they went into asylum, or maybe they went to chop life. Maybe they went to go and chop life. Only God knows. Well, wish them well.
Well, we hope we don't get to hear such stories in the near future because it's really, really
disappointing.
It's really disappointing and sad. Well, thank you guys for being here today. It has been an interesting conversation.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Also, guys. So with this brings us to the end of another edition of the show, the Sports Desk. From the Super Falcons' impressive response at the WAFCON to the Flying Eagles' journey towards another title, Arsenal's ambition in the transfer market, and the challenges athletes face beyond competition, we've looked beyond the headlines to understand the stories shaping sport. Thank you for joining us. I remain your host, Udokan God's Power. And that's our program for today. But the conversation continues across our social media platforms and digital channels where you can stay updated with the latest sports stories and breaking news throughout the day. Thank you for spending your time this morning with us on S24 Morning Digest. Have a wonderful day and we'll see you next time.